You are about to witness history in the making.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Pop Culture Gamers podcast, take two, for 23rd of July, 2023. I can't believe time's gone on so quickly since our last podcast. I'm Haydn, I'm going to host this evening, and I'm here, as always, with Steve. Steve, how are you?
Just a bit relieved that we're still now trying to do a second run here. Can't believe it. Yeah, I'm all right, not bad.
Yeah, fortunately, we already managed to get to you just started to say what you were doing before it all went wrong, as opposed to a couple of minutes before the end, which would have been pretty disastrous. But the joys of technology.
Get myself in position. Oh, didn't you love it?
Yeah. So this is, for those of you who don't know this, that Steve's adjusted his camera for the vodcast part, and now he's decided to lean over to one side of the screen instead of being in the middle.
Well, it's my chair. Obviously, I won't explain again. We're going to start because I've done my knee in again, and it's very painful. I've had codeine for a week to get rid of the pain because I'm limping around like I've been shot. And yeah, it's not been a good week for me. Probably two in about 2 weeks of this or that. Yeah. But, and my when I went to pick up some more medication, it was nice of the pharmacist to remind me that next year I get a prescription for free. I didn't need to know that.
Yes, that's well, I suppose it is a positive that you get it for free, especially if you have to get a lot of prescriptions, because they can cost a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I pay £10 a month at the moment, so anything I get prescribed. Well, I've got my regular medication for my blood clot.
Yeah.
But anything else I get on top, I won't have to pay for because it comes under it. So I look like a little pharmacist in the corner over here. I tell you.
The joys of getting old. So what else is new with you then, Steve?
Unfortunately, I've not been able to get to the cinema as much as I wanted to this month. There's 3 movies out in a matter of a month, I think it's been. So even though we won't talk about it yet, because I'll probably catch up with it. Indiana Jones, I was going to go and see that, and then I booked the tickets. Then my knee happened. Then it was funny because the Saturday we were going to go, I got an emergency call to the doctor to go and see him to have an injection in my knee. And the woman that did it, I didn't think she did it very well because she hit my bone in the knee when she did it.
Ow.
And that friggin' hurt, to be fair, really bad. Anyway, and it didn't work very well, so I was sort of knee up, trying to work from home best I can. So I cancelled the Indiana Jones tickets online. I had to forfeit the £2 for the paying for it to sort it. The price of the ticket themselves.
It's kind of what gets me is that they encourage you to buy it online and then they charge you more money for it.
Yeah, so you got your £2 transaction plus the £16 or whatever it is for a ticket.
Yeah.
So I cancelled that. I got a refund. Then I thought, oh, I know what we'll do. We're going to see Mission Impossible, but I'm still not well to do that either. So I've not seen anything other than The Flash, which came out just before. It's now on Sky to rent and own. It's not on Sky Cinemas yet. So I rented it last night, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. And if people want to hide, we will go into spoilers as well near the end of it.
We will, but we'll let you know. We'll probably put the chapter link on the YouTube part for that as well. Yeah.
So we watched that last night. So just from not going to the cinema, I ended up buying a couple of. Well, I didn't actually, because I ordered one Blu-ray, which I'll talk about last, over a month ago. So this is the first one. So I've got Speed, first one now.
Other way.
That's it. You see that now? There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. But I've got to send it back.
Why?
Ready for this?
Oh, that's really annoying.
And I looked at buying some of those anyway. You can get 2 for $12.99, but I'm thinking, yeah. So I've got to really sort that out quickly. I haven't done it yet on that one. So yeah, that was, But I've got a Blu-ray copy, but I wanted to just upgrade that one. That's a great film. I don't know if you've probably got it as well, haven't you?
No, not Speed. Has never been one I've been that particularly bothered about.
Because you're not such a Keanu fan, are you?
No, I like Keanu Reeves. Yeah, I think he's fine.
So, right, so I went onto eBay. I have got one of my favourite 90s, 50s sci-fi movies looking like this. You can see that.
Yeah.
The Spanish copy.
Yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
And it comes up all in, you can see, I'll probably share that. So it's all Spanish. But it does have the English soundtrack on it. And that's all it's got in it, is just that film. Right. And I knew that the BFI brought out a copy, which is this one. And there's a ton of extras on the back. And it's 2 discs, I think. No, it's 1 disc, sorry. 1 disc. But this one is apparently remastered.
Nice.
So, yeah, but this is on eBay, so I won't be sending it back, but I'm not having much luck. Look.
Well, I suppose the good thing is normal DVD cases are Blu-ray as cheap as chips, aren't they?
Well, yeah, or if I can find something that I can throw away that I don't really need, if I've got something there, I'll just swap it out. But yeah, me and luck for that. Can you believe it? Two in a month have been like that. And Amazon's packaging isn't really great for Blu-rays, is it? You know what I mean? And then something else came in. So I can't believe that this is now 45 years old. Not your favourite, I know. You're not really keen on it. But yes, I was really pleased to get the 4K version in the Steelbook. Now, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
So you've got from In the Shark's Mouth from the original, and the back looks like that. But I actually prefer my Blu-ray.
So what you're saying is that they didn't really know how to finish the back?
No, so that's it there. Without the title.
Right, okay.
You with me? So that's looking from inside now. And then you've got the fin on the back again, this one. But the fin on the back is the part where Brody shouts out, "Open wide." But yeah, it's a great copy. It looks brilliantly done. There's some downside to it though. There's no 5.1 track. And
that's unusual.
And the extras are the same as that. So I don't know why they did that, but anyway, it does come with some nice cinema cards and the poster and the book. It is limited edition. My copy is number 1,365 of 2,000. So
nice.
But it's one of those movies that you'd like to have. I mean, I do have. Excuse me. So I do have this copy, which isn't the greatest box. How they done it?
No.
You know what I mean? Then the back is like that. Why couldn't they just done it good old fashioned post?
But isn't that so that when you open it up all the way along, it's one?
Well, does that make much odds like that?
Oh no, it doesn't. No. No, it looks like a Leonardo da Vinci picture with the water at different heights.
It does, doesn't it? But there is. I have ordered. There's another company on Xavier on there. It's a film. They've got certain films that are dedicated to certain movies, and they've rebundled them. So there's a copy of this coming in a new bundle,
right?
Later in the month for me. So I will probably depending on when it. I might keep this just due to this. Depends what the other one comes in when it comes out. Yeah, so all of that Jaws. I know 45th anniversary of number 2. All these movies we saw are just getting older and older, and we're catching up with it. Everything, just can't believe it. I mean, I think, some of these greatest horror movies of the 80s, 82, and further now, it's just frightening that we are getting old. And the stars are actually starting to pass away, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, to say, the strange thing is, I never ever thought about the day when the stars that were young when I was a kid would be in their 70s, 80s, and 90s when I'm an adult. Do you know what I mean? And it was just sort of like seeing people like Arnie, because I've been watching the Arnie documentary on Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like, I think of it, my picture of Arnie is between the Commando and True Lies. That sort of, any
you mean Terminator? Surely not Terminator onwards.
No, I would say Commando, because I never really got into Terminator when it first came out.
Right.
Just because, don't forget, I am, younger, so it was a little bit, I was a little bit younger back then. But I'd seen Commando, and that was sort of my first introduction of Arnie. Before Conan. Well, actually, no. My first introduction of him was in Cactus Jack Slade, or as it's otherwise known in America, The Villain.
Yeah, crap movie, but there you go.
Oh, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite.
It's a kid memory, though, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I remember going to the pictures and seeing it, and it's like a live action sort of Roadrunner movie, but applied to, a villain who's trying to rob someone. But he ends up with all of these Wile E. Coyote things, because it's Kirk Douglas. Yeah, I was right the first time. Yeah, Kirk Douglas. And he's absolutely brilliant in it as well. And the horse that they had doing a lot of the stuff, it was brilliant. Well-trained animal. So, yeah, I've got a lot of love for that movie.
So sticking on that child memories, as you and I have been doing over the last 7 or 8 months, maybe even a year now, we've had the Jerry Anderson shows coming on vinyl. Unfortunately, I've only got one of Space 1999. Have you got the same one as me, haven't you?
I've got both.
You've got both. I haven't gone for the second one, the first season yet.
Yeah, I accidentally bought the second season, thinking it was season 1 and 2 together as a double LP.
Yeah, but I do have the single box set.
Yeah,
singles.
I've got the singles one. Yeah.
Cool show. Yeah. Anyway, so now at last we have
Stingray.
And we have Stingray.
They sent you 2?
Yeah.
Why?
So I don't know. I looked. I'm going to put it on eBay because I double checked through my emails. I ordered 1, but I have 2. I've left it in there because it's all sealed as it comes in the box, so it's got this piece here. So yeah, there's 2. It's not often I get a bit of luck, is it?
No, I must admit I never bought that one.
But yeah, again, it's the same as the other one. You got like a shed load of the tracks from it, and it even has the sound, the introduction on the TV show. With Stand By for Action and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, and that again was back order from God knows how long, because it only came out on CD first of all.
Yeah, I mean, I've just not bought it, but I would say that Thunderbirds and Space 1999 in UFO were the ones for me. Do you know what I mean? I was just, I liked Stingray, but I was never really that into it in the same way.
Yeah. And the other one I got is Captain Scarlet as well.
Captain Scarlet, no, I wasn't into that one.
No, it's exactly the same format.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, so I'm going to have to probably use eBay for the first time.
I'll have to have a look on the Fanderson website then, because I quite fancy coming out on Captain Scarlet.
Yeah, that one came out obviously came out before Space 1999.
Did it?
Yeah, sure it did. But I have to look at my YouTube channel because it's on there anyway. I did do a little bit of it.
Yeah, I see that they've got the UFO vinyl available again as well.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got that. It's brilliant.
So yeah, and obviously gaming, whether or not with the acquisition of Blizzard and everything else that we were mentioning in the news, will Diablo 4 go to Game Pass?
I think it definitely will.
Whether or not, if that's going to be pretty soon, I think we'd be pretty not chuffed at spending out on that. Although I got a good deal in it anyway, but
yeah, I mean, I think I just got mine from Argos because it was as cheap as anywhere else. But I did balance it in my head what format to get it on, and I decided to go for Xbox, and I kind of like wish I'd gone for PlayStation now. Or PC.
I mean, it doesn't matter because it's multi. You can play with anyone, can't you? So
yeah, I know, but I didn't know that at the time, which is why I bought it on Xbox so we could play together.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, and I think the world's in a mess at the moment. The temperature's rising around the world. We were a bit cooler for a bit.
Considering it's global warming, and I don't know why my camera's suddenly gone blurred again, but considering it's global warming, it's been cold, wet and rainy up in the north.
It has been the last, it's sunny now with a bit of cloud, but all weekend it's been tipping with rain. So, but anyway, so what have you been up to, my son?
All sorts. I've done a load of videos on YouTube recently.
You have, yes.
I'm trying to. I keep going through fits and starts, and now that it's the end of the school year and stuff like that, and for reasons I won't go into particularly, but I'm giving up being a governor. So I was a chair of governors for one school and safeguarding governor for another. But because of where I work, it's been sort of viewed as a bit of a conflict of interest, especially with like.
Is that from up here?
Yeah, higher up. Yeah. Even though I've been doing it for a decade, and that's also the same for other people in my team as well. So we've all, because 3 of us out of 5 of us are governors. So we've all agreed that we would have the same approach, whatever we did, and we decided, we'll step down, as it were. So that's left me with more time, and then coming to the end of the year as well, because I teach on an evening, and that's stopped a couple of weeks ago, so I suddenly had more time. So I thought, right, time to invest in the YouTube channel, do some stuff on there. And plus the fact that obviously, now Desert Water Games sends me some games to do the achievement hunter things. They actually stopped for a little bit because in terms of the changes to the Microsoft achievements, so they're stamping out all of the 5-minute completion games. And the new rules are that there has to be more of an investment in time in terms of to getting achievements, which is better because it means you get better value for money.
It means you've got to work harder, though. That's what it means.
Yeah, it does. Not really a problem given the fact that all of that's kicked in, and my gamer score so far this month is 12,970.
And that's all indie games, isn't it? Doing that or not?
No.
It's funny because have you seen my achievements recently with what popped up? Even though I'm not going to tell you what I've been playing.
No.
They're all Bioshock achievements.
Oh yeah, I knew you were playing Bioshock. Yeah.
I was playing the Ultimate, and obviously on your second run, my second run, it's been popping little five 5-point achievement for shooting with a certain gun and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you actually look, one of the games that I have almost 100% completed recently is Microsoft's Solitaire collection. And I'll tell you what, that is probably the longest game you will ever get to get all of the achievements.
Oh, really? Even though it's a simple game, if you know what I mean?
Oh, seriously, it's 1850 gamer score, and I've got 1820, and I cannot get the last achievement because you've got to get 5 of this particular thing for completing expert levels. And even though I can complete the expert levels within 5 minutes very easily, you have to get, you have to wait until they turn up and beat that level in that game, which is released on a daily, occasionally every other day sort of basis. So, and then some of them, the 2 that I've got that I need to collect, just haven't been up because I've completed every expert game for the last 4 months, every time they've appeared, and on the daily stuff, and it's just not popped, and it's frustrating the hell out of me. I managed to get 1 after a month, so it's just really, really annoying. But such is life, isn't it? But I'm 30 off getting that full 1850 on there. But things like like I said, Desert Water Games, they've changed the way their games are working. So the last couple of achievement hunter videos that I've done, for example, Iceline, which was their last game, that probably took me a couple of hours to get done, because I had to work out every level, because obviously I get the codes early as well, so there's no walkthroughs, and it's a puzzle game sort of thing, and it is quite hard. I mean, I have to admit, I went and did every level in the game rather than just a couple of levels, but or rather up to level 35, which is what the requirement was to get all of the achievements. So if you look on my YouTube, you'll actually see all 50 levels there. Well, actually, I didn't do level 1. For some reason, the recording didn't record level 1. It's weird. Or I must have deleted it accidentally when I was putting a video together. It was only after I uploaded it. I thought, oh, no. Yeah. And then I thought, I can't be bothered to re-download it, because by that point, it had about 75 views of the video, and I thought that's pretty good for me in a day, sort of thing. But what I've also started doing is adding the solutions to the games that I do onto True Achievements. That one, and Mighty Mage, which is their other one that they've released since the change in a Microsoft thing, that one took about 30 minutes to an hour to complete as well, because you had to complete the game 3 times with 3 different types of character. So I don't mind the fact that they're doing more of an investment in terms of how long it takes you to do. Oh, and also what was the other one that I had for them? It was Dead Ground. That one was another one. That was the first one that came out after the Microsoft stuff, and that one was actually quite tough. Because that's like a tower defense sort of game, which I'm never that, not my favorite genre. But yeah. So anyway, they do give us the games so that I can do the video, and obviously the promotion. It's a free way of them getting promotion, isn't it? But it helps out the YouTube channel as well, because it means that I've got content to put views on.
Absolutely.
But I've also been doing a few other things, some unboxings. So one of the unboxings is for this little baby here. So there you go.
I look awful in that.
There you go. So this is the Evercade EXP console. It's got 18 inbuilt games, classic Capcom games on here, but also takes cartridges, and the cartridges are all fully licensed.
Is that going to be just the games are not going to be like a lot of games that you.
There's all sorts. They've got over 400 games at the moment. So a lot of them are classic. So I've got like games from the Atari collection. So that's like 2600 and upwards. But I've also got, they also do like Commodore 64 games in a pack. They're doing one that's coming out in a couple of months, which is a Delphine software. So, remember Delphine software from back from the Amiga days and stuff like that. But then also games like this. So these are packs that have got indie, titles on. So on here, this is some of the stuff you might have seen. So, for example, Debtor, which was a game supplied to us by Desert Water Games, is available on here as well. And also Foxyland. But the levels are different on this version of Foxyland, and I think also on Debtor as well in some parts, than it is on the Xbox. But the difference is that one cartridge, which we can have anywhere from... There's one cartridge that's got 2 games on, and then the other ones have between generally 6 and 20 games on them, and they're $16.99 per cartridge. So if you like your indie games or if you like your retro games, it's the ideal sort of console because it's handheld. But if you don't want to have it handheld, this is the VS. Put your cartridges in, exactly the same cartridges. I have filmed an unboxing video for this one as well, which will be coming soon. As soon as we've actually recorded about the system interface on it as well. But the other thing about this, if I switch this on, is once it's actually sort of booted up, I'll try and do it backwards if I can when it boots up. It does take a little while to open. There we go. I've got the sound right down because it's a bit tinny on here. So what they've actually got they also give you a free game every month for you to try.
Oh, okay.
And then it has hidden games as well for you to find, which I found them all. Guess what? Video ain't coming on how to find the hidden games. But also, that's on the handheld. On this console, the one that plugs into your TV, if you get 2 cartridges that match and you put them both in the console, it unlocks other hidden games on the cartridges as well. And this is what the controller looks like, but you can also plug in your Xbox controller as well. I mean, there's no rumble or anything like that, but what you've got to remember is this is up to PS1 era that it'll play. So yeah, it's a really nice console. Quite like the thing. So I had the premium previous version of that, which I picked up for quite cheap. So I've given that to my son because I got one of the cartridges duplicated as well. The IREM cartridge, which is my favourite one, which has R-Type on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I've been recently doing is my unboxing videos for things like this.
Put it close to the screen because it's so tiny. I had one of them, proper size. It was like this.
Yeah, so did I. So I got one of those, and then I've also just done the video for.
Yeah.
I am seriously thinking about getting a Commodore 64 Maxi.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised?
Why not? Yeah. Because that's got a full working keyboard. The keyboards don't work, which is a bit of a shame.
They're just for
effect. Yeah. Although, have you ever watched Retro Recipes?
I don't think I have. No.
It's got Perifractic on it, and what he does, he actually works in the movie industry and stuff like that, and he's appeared on EastEnders, and he's been in Star Wars, and so is his wife, and all this, that, and the other, and they're expecting a baby, so congratulations to them for that. But he's a really big retro sort of gamer. You'd love to, you want to watch Retro Recipes. I think that you'll love the content because it's done with a bit of humour, but it's a very much a loving sort of thing to some of the older sort of consoles, particularly the Amiga and the Commodore 64. But he does all sorts of stuff, and he's recently bought himself the Knight Rider car as well.
Oh, I've sat in one of them.
Yeah. Oh well, he's actually
many few years ago. It was at Christchurch when it was.
He's bought it.
Yeah.
He's bought it, and on his Tesla, he put on the strip light as well. So yeah, it's well worth watching that. So that's Retro Recipes. I went to the cinema as well. I went to see The Flash at the new cinema in Northallerton. Sorry?
What pricing?
Very pricey indeed. It cost more for me to go than it used to cost me and my son to go to the Empire. But I'm a little bit sort of, I think the technical word is screwed now, because the Empire Cinema at Catterick is closed because of the company is, just closed it.
Right.
So that means the cinema that I went to with my son and the cinema I went to with my friend as well, gone. So it left us with Everyman. So I thought I'll try out Everyman. So I went to see The Flash in it, which we'll talk about later. But I'll give my review for the cinema as opposed to the movie. I think that the best way I can describe this is I am neither bald enough, have a bushy enough beard, or hipster enough to appreciate this cinema. Because it's a real sort of hipsterish sort of place. You go in, and it's a bar for a start off when you get in there. It looks like you're going into a pub. And then you go like round behind the bar, and that's where the cinema sort of screens are. First thing that staff ask you is not what film do you want to see, but what do you want to drink? Yeah,
that's my time. That's my time of place.
That's
mate.
Your kind of place. Yeah. We got to the seating, which are a cross between armchairs and sofa style seating, but very boxy, all in a row. I've never been to a cinema where they had cushions. Okay. So you had cushions. First thing I did was chuck it onto another chair because it was bloody uncomfortable. They don't have recliners, which for the cost I was paying for the ticket, I could have gone to York and I could have been sat in a recliner and still had change. And then, and this is what I found really annoying, is they've got these, they don't have cup holders. They've got these like trays on stilts on the arms. But because of where they are, you can't put your hand underneath and hold on to the arm. You've got to put your arm on top of the tray where your drink goes. And because there's no cup holder, it's very easy to knock. But it gets worse because you can get service to your seat to order a pizza or stuff like that. So where I was sat, if somebody had have come and had a pizza sitting next to me, the arm is here.
I'm guessing that's before the film. I'm guessing before the film starts. Yeah.
Yeah, before.
And the service stops when the movie starts. Yeah.
Well, you have to go out and have it, but you could order it and then they'd bring it in. But the tray overlaps onto your space in front of you. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of like if somebody had come in and had a 12-inch pizza, it would have been in my space. I'd have felt invaded and I'd have had nowhere to put my drink at that point. So and then we got sat down. The woman came over. Do you want a drink? No, we've got full glasses. Okay, well, just let us know. Went away, came back. Would you like a drink yet? No, because we haven't drunk any. Thank you very much. Went away, came back. Would you like a pizza or something to eat? No. Go away. And by this point, I was sort of like, when she started coming back, I looked at my son and I said, oh, for God's sake. And she still kept saying, do you want a drink? No. As a matter of fact, she did. She started, do you want? I said, no, I don't. Thank you. Just leave us alone. Thank you. And then the lights went down. They showed the adverts.
I'm just thinking that just sounds so wrong.
And then they put the lights back up. She comes and stands in front of the film, says, thank you for coming to Everyman. We really appreciate your patronage. If you want a drink or if you want something to eat, just come down to the bar and you can order it and we'll deliver it to your seat. And then enjoy the film. And then the lights went back down. So you got accustomed to the light level. They blinded you by putting the lights back up, and then it went all dark. So your eyes just couldn't. Do you know what I mean? And it was sort of like, I am not coming back to this cinema.
Well, normally the lighting in most cinemas, they're quite ambient anyway, even when they come back up.
Yeah. Oh no, this wasn't.
This was like going to daylight or something, coming out the cinema at night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It's exactly what it was like.
You're going to go to an Odeon or something like that, really.
The nearest Odeon to me is in Harrogate, which is 45 minutes away, and you have to pay for parking in Harrogate. There's not much parking around it.
Oh, we have to pay BH1 Odeon Cinema in Bournemouth. They got a car park underneath, so that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what's going to happen. I'm going to end up going back to Teesside Park, which is in between Middlesbrough and Stockton. It's technically Stockton, but
because I'm thinking of which doesn't got the view.
There's a View cinema in Middlesbrough.
Yeah, and Cineworld and now I think have collapsed. Is it finally? I'm not too sure. I've heard stories that they've actually maybe have gone into liquidation. I might be wrong.
I don't know, but it was Empire has definitely gone.
Is it Empire maybe? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew Cineworld were going down the same route. But if I go, Odeon's much better. I mean, there's one cinema in Southampton I've been to, and you have the recliner chairs with space there for a tray of treats, and you can put a glass of beer down there with your glass of wine and just sit and enjoy the movies if you're at home, but you've got your own space with the recliner doubles, like a settee, and that's pretty good. You can have a pizza before and sit and eat it in the restaurant where you're on a special level. Everyone else, the poor people are below you. So these big recliners are higher up with this one bar. You've got the bar to use and the food and that, and then below that they get theirs from the standard stuff. And that's pretty good. That.
Well, I mean, I think I'm just going to end up going back to the Ritz at Thirsk, which is like the community cinema. And I went there, and I'm not kidding you, there was more people at the Ritz than there was at Everyman, and it's only £6 per person, so it's very reasonable in terms of cost. Because I just don't think it's worth spending £16-17 on watching a movie in the cinema.
What about the sound in there? What was that like? That'd be interesting, because that's what's important at the end of the day. And so the size of the screen and the sound and the company, and you get a bit of comfiness as well.
What at the Everyman? Do you mean? The sound was fine. The visuals were fine. It was the seating. It was the annoying staff, and it was the whole. You need to be a hipster sort of vibe.
I mean, I like the idea of it as much, but I think they shouldn't. Regarding the cinema and the experience, that's where they shouldn't be. That part of it, they shouldn't even be in there. Before the cinema starts, if they want to hand out drinks and whatever, popcorn, and you're going to sit down, anything other than that, you want to munch before you go in, because you don't want to be sitting there watching a movie and someone's slopping away on a pizza.
Yeah.
You don't want that,
And especially you don't want that pizza encroached into your space.
No.
Not that there was anybody sat next to me doing that, but if there had been...
There could have been. You mean, that could have been well annoying.
Yeah, that would have been really annoying, because there was only 4 of us in the whole of the screen, and there were a couple up at the back. They did order pizzas, and like the pizzas came and they were bigger than the trays. So you can imagine, I would have just been like, do you know what I mean?
The most I've ever eaten in the cinema would be, well, I do like some cheese and nachos and jalapenos, but I'll have eaten that before the film starts.
Yeah, everybody does.
You're there, you got the adverts, you got the trailers, and I already finished it by then, or a hot dog, that's fine. And you just got a drink. But then you got places like New York, where when you're sitting in the cinema, people just get their phones out willy-nilly to look at their pictures of their dogs, or to make a phone call in the cinema while the movie's going. So.
Yeah, but they also do stuff like cheering and booing and stuff like that at the screen as well, don't they? Well,
that's a little bit of enthusiasm, which I think, to be fair, that wouldn't bother me too much. I mean, a little bit of enthusiasm, audience participation isn't too bad. It's a bigger experience.
The only time I've ever had that in a cinema was when I went to see Independence Day. And at the end, people stood up and cheered. And I'm not joking.
Really?
They cheered at the end of that movie. Everybody really enjoyed it. I loved that movie when I first saw it as well. Because it's an easy movie to just say, oh, it's a War of the Worlds rip-off and blah, blah, blah.
No, it's not. It's not a War of the Worlds rip-off. It's completely different.
Yeah, but it's the same principle. It's just that the execution's slightly different. But at the end of the day, it was a fun film.
I remember that was the only film I've had to sneak out halfway through. I think it was quite long, or I had a good few beers before I got in the cinema. I couldn't hang on. So at the point where they got the jet flying through the caverns with the alien ship, and then he smacked it, welcome to Earth. It was at that point I had to quickly go to the loo. But I was really quick though. I don't hang around. You hang around at home, but in the cinema, no, you're in and out as quick as you can,
Oh, yeah. Anyway, shall we move on to...
Please, yes.
The next bit? Okay, let's go on to Gaming This Week.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
All right, so Gaming This Week, and we've got a few bits of news. All Xbox, surprisingly enough. So, Game Pass price rises.
Shock horror, not really.
No, going up by a couple of quid. To be honest, I'm not surprised because it's got to be expensive running Game Pass. And then doing all of the streaming, because you've got to have all those servers running.
Yeah. Okay. Also, some of the games that are coming to Game Pass over the next 5 months, 6 months, and you would normally be shelling out what, £90, £80 a game?
Yeah.
So to be fair, I think we can spoil that. We obviously with the other story of the acquisition as well. We could be seeing more games coming on there than previously thought of, and putting the price on there will make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Does that whole Xbox Blizzard Activision Blizzard acquisition deal, because the only stopping point now is the British Ombudsman, isn't it?
It's to do with the cloud services apparently. But I think they'll get that sorted out by October.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen because everybody else is saying yes. It's only us. So,
but I think that's down to some fine paperwork possibly and stuff like that. I think that's all it's going to be. It can't be much more than that.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft are the same all over the world. It's no different, really, is it?
No, definitely not. And then, for my ancestor's namesake, Major Nelson's leaving Xbox. That's it's not a shocker, but it is, because he's like a part of the furniture.
Well, he is. I mean, that was when I was first listening to podcasts. I was listening to a 30-minute show that he started off doing. This was just before the 360 kicked in, I think, if I remember rightly. And I began around Sainsbury's, listening to his show. I'd be chatting on the Xbox to people, and they're saying, "Well, how do you know this information? Where's it all coming from?" Podcast. Well, what's that? You know, and his little 30-minute ones he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, it must admit that when you say about podcasts to people, it amuses me when people say, "Oh, yeah, that's the new big thing." No, it's kind of like being here for 20 years.
Yeah, it's just some people have never embraced it.
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
you know, well, I'm always finding something new to listen to. I mean, as I said, we didn't mention it earlier, but I'm listening to Rob Brydon, who we all know for being in Gavin and Stacey.
Yes.
And he does a podcast now, and he also does a YouTube, what I think is a fraction shorter, I think. And just listening to his first episode with Steve Coogan. I mean, he's a great impersonator. Is Rob Brydon? I think Steve Coogan is as well. But as though have you ever seen The Trip, haven't you? And they bounce around.
Yeah.
The dinner table, just bouncing actors' voices between them, having a crack. And listening to a couple of that I'll bring in later on. He was doing impersonation of them, and he's just so pleasant to listen to. He's got that sort of voice that's like relaxing, I think maybe is the right word to use. And his execution is really good. So anyway.
Yeah, he's I do like him. He's so funny as well.
And just on the note of Steve Coogan, I've got to tell you this. In this podcast, he's talking about they're doing a pilot. He's doing a pilot for a new TV show. Now I'm guessing it's a show, not a film, but it sounds like it's something to do with the life of Jimmy Savile, and he's playing Jimmy Savile.
Yes, he is. Oh, did you know about this?
No, not until I heard it on the other day when I did the podcast.
Yeah,
so that makes me cringe in one sense, but I think it would be hilarious on the other if Steve Coogan's playing it.
I don't think it's going to be a comedy because
I don't know. Yeah,
he does drama as well.
Yeah.
And he's a very good drama
actor. Whether it's going to be a creepy show or it is a comedy, I don't know.
I think it will, and I to be honest, I think he'll be good in it because you know the drama stuff he's done is good. Because he can really, but I always think comedians make great actors, but actors don't make great comedians.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few that come and go, and there's people that do stand up, but they can't act. They do quiz shows instead, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, but the likes of John Cleese does both. You know. I'll include all of Monty Python when I say that. And then
I mean, you look at David Jason, don't you? I mean, he's brilliant comedian, but also in terms of like Open All Hours and all that sort of stuff, Body Fields and Horses right up to Frost. Where it's much more serious.
Yeah, and they can do it right, but some comedians aren't the same. So they're just like stand-up comedians. They can't. I don't think they can get any further than that. They just now host quiz shows like Michael McIntyre does. Don't get me wrong, he's a great stand-up comedian, but
don't get me wrong, can't stand him.
No, you can't. But yeah, and
I was told.
But then again, Peter Kay's another one. He's a good one because he's done some good shows as well. Thinking about it.
Yeah. Peter Kay, I prefer him in something when he's not being himself. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. I don't like him in stand up, but I don't mind him in, what was that one that he did? Phoenix Nights, for example. And then the other one is what you call it, Vegas.
Sharing a car in it? Is that one?
No. The other actor, what you call it, Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Hello, yeah, monkey. Yeah, him.
Yeah. Johnny Vegas. That's it. I could not think of his first name.
He's someone who I don't like him doing like stand up, but when he's acting, doing stuff, he's all right.
I know. I'm going to say as well. There's two others come to mind actually, maybe three, because they do all act as well. But obviously, what's his name, Ricky Gervais.
I love Ricky Gervais. Yeah,
he does both. He does both as well, and also some of his co-stars.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen Merchant, for example. I
like Ricky Gervais, like Stephen Merchant. I love Steve Coogan. They're my sort of ones, really. Harry Enfield, still like a bit of Harry Enfield.
Actually, I haven't looked at that one yet, but Rob Brydon's also done a podcast with Harry Hill. So you'll have to check that one on YouTube and have a little gander at it and see what it's like. I've not seen it yet.
Well, Harry Hill and Harry Enfield are very different.
Sorry, Harry Hill. Sorry, I do apologise. My head's thinking one thing and it's doing another. So. But and I was having a cup of tea this morning. I was just, you go through your phone.
I do, yeah.
And there was some videos come up, and there was the one there for the last 10 minutes of Blackadder Goes Forth.
Oh, brilliant!
And it just, every time I watch that, it just it's so emotional and very clever. Even how can you do a comedy about something where they are just about to go and die? Do you know what I mean? And it's just so perfect.
Well, I think how they ended Blackadder Goes Forth was such a beautiful ending to that series. Because I know that they've done specials since, but they did 4 seasons of that series over different generations. But the way that they ended it, and especially with Baldrick saying, "Oh, look, there's a nasty splinter on that ladder. I have a cunning plan," and all of that. And it was just so wonderful. And then when they all got up and did the charge, and then it faded to the field full of poppies, I thought it was just absolutely beautifully done. Really considerate of
there is on Channel 4. I don't know if you got to see it. The pilot episode was shown for the first time on British television.
I haven't seen that.
It was on Channel 4 about a week ago. So they did it. I think it was on the Comedy Channel.
Okay.
So they did one night where they were talking about Blackadder, and the other one was about they had a select number of guests to see on the big screen. And Baldrick isn't played by the right person in that one. It's someone completely different. But yeah. Anyway, we're digressing, and we've got loads to go.
Yes, we've really gone around the houses and to a completely different part of town rather than the gaming area.
So just quickly then, so Xbox Live is now Xbox Core. More information on that when they get it, but basically that is going to be your basic early, other than Game Pass. This is a bit before that you can get some stuff on there. There's I think 12 games you'll be able to play within Core. Everything for everybody there. So do you want to go? Should we go to the new releases next?
Yeah, do you want to do those?
Okay, so we have the Remnant 2 on all formats. We've got Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart on Windows PC. So we start with the 25th of July, then 26th. 27th, we've got Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. All formats again on that. The Expanse, a Telltale series.
I'm looking forward to that one because I really enjoyed Star Trek Resurgence. I've completed it.
Yeah, I have. The Expanse, isn't that based on the TV show?
Yeah.
Well, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So that's on all formats again. We've got Disney Illusion Island on the Nintendo Switch on the 28th. We have F1 Manager 2023 on the 31st of July in all formats. Then also the same day, we got Rise of the Triad Ludicrous Edition on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, 5, Windows PC and everything else that comes out. Then to be announced in July, we got Pokemon Sleep on Android and iOS, and we got Baldur's Gate 3 on PC. I thought that had been on Xbox as well, but maybe I'm wrong.
It might be just a PC release if it's already been on Xbox.
Not even sure if it is or not. I think it is brand new though, but so a few little bits and pieces there.
Yeah. Not much.
No, the Expanse, I'd like to see what that's all about, but other than that, I'm more driving cars than the Manager in F1, but
Have you watched The Expanse?
No, I haven't. It's been on my to-do list.
You want to get onto that because it is really good. So in terms of other games, that ones you can pick up for free, the only ones that we've got at the moment are on Epic. So we've got Murder by Numbers and The Elder Scrolls Online are both free until the 27th of July. And then after that, it's Homeworld Remastered Collection from the 27th of July to the 3rd of August, as well as Severed Steel. Now, Homeworld is a really, really good game on the PC for you to be able to play. It's a real-time strategy sort of game, and with the remastered version, better graphics as well. There is also, I've not tried it, but I know that there is, a Star Trek mod for it, so you can change all of the ships to Star Trek.
Interesting.
Mm. So, shall we talk? How do you want to do this, Steve? Do you want to go first, or what are you talking about? The same game as me, or do you have another one to talk about?
No, I'll just quickly talk about Destiny, just where we're at the moment. So we're in the Solstice event at the moment, which is running for another, God knows how many days it is now. It doesn't really say, does it? Another 15 days where you are grinding out the glowing armor, and you're doing the kindling. You're going to the bonfires on the EDZ, if you remember all that from last time, Haydn. Yeah, just enjoying a bit of that. Yeah, I'm just going to crack that out in the next couple of days. I'll have that done and dusted. Back to the season of Defiant and doing some bits and that to just get some more weapons for crafting there. Just same old stuff really at the moment.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Bioshock Infinite I've been playing. Started a new game. Don't know. I think what brought me to do this was that the Netflix film that's coming out called Bioshock, and I just thought, you know what?
Is it a film or is it a series? I thought it was a series.
A film, I thought.
I thought it was a series.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm not 100%. I'm sure it said it was a movie, but we'll see. That last third game looks absolutely gorgeous on the Xbox. It really does. And plays well still as well. Just plays a breeze. I've just been really enjoying it. Just something to play just something to play on your own without any interference. And I have re-downloaded, I haven't finished it yet, which is the that horror game, which is like Telltale. One that's like a movie, if you remember.
Yeah. With
quite a few people from the late sort of films and that. I can't think what it's called now off the top of my head, but yeah, that fit as well. Other than that, I think we've just been playing what we'll talk about when you finish a couple of games you want to talk about, really.
Okay, well, I mean, I pretty much have talked about the two main ones that I wanted to talk about, which is the Evercade Premium and the EXP handheld consoles. Did that in the intro, really. The one thing I did forget to mention in terms of this little baby here is there's the difference between this and the original one, other than the fact that this feels a lot heavier, feels a lot better quality in terms of build. You know, it's all matte finished, but it's got two buttons on the edges rather than one. But the other thing is this has what they call a Tata mode, so you can play games that way up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing like 1942, those sort of games, you know, play them straight up.
Like Gallagher and stuff like that, you mean?
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. They'll all play that way up, which makes it better because obviously, you know, those games are designed for that orientation of screen, and when you shrink it down on the height, you know, on that height, it's not a lot. Whereas where you do it like that, it's relatively large. So that's the sort of like main things for that, and also the 18 games that are built into this you can't get anywhere else. You know, they're not on a cartridge, so it's like buying that. But there is now also a new version of the console which is done under a different name, but you can pick up effectively a light version of that handheld in a more sort of Game Boyish sort of, you know, that sort of shape for 50 quid. And it comes with either Taito or Capcom games, but you can also plug in the cartridges in the back as well. I'll put the details to that, a link to it on Amazon in the description. But that's an interesting thing as well, because when it first came out, I saw a reviewer saying or someone's copied the cartridges. No, it's the same company. They're just doing it under a different brand name, which is a bit weird. But there you go. Anyway, I mentioned before about the Star Trek Resurgence as well. So I've completed the story on that. Obviously, if you've played Telltale games, you know what you're going to be getting. But the graphics are much improved on this. I don't know what you thought about the graphics.
Yeah, I think they're not bad, to be fair.
No, they're better than functional.
Yeah, I mean the sound effects are pretty cool. The music sounds really good. It's very, it makes you feel like it's a Star Trek game. Let's put it that way, because a lot of them don't do that.
No, and I think they really did get a lot right in terms of the feel of it. Felt like an interactive Star Trek episode with new characters and a new ship, but there's still the same sort of choices. So you could decide that you wanted to go for something in a Starfleet way, or go your own sort of rogue way, as it were. I did think the relationship things didn't seem to change the options at all, from what I could gather. But you could force a story in slightly divergent sort of paths. But I'm not sure how much you could completely tailor all of that. But that did get me thinking. Actually, I quite are there any other Star Trek games? So I picked up this, which I haven't installed yet. But I got this for $5.
What one's that?
Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've not seen that by now.
Yeah. So as we know, Star Trek Prodigy is being canned off Paramount Plus, which is really unusual for Star Trek to Paramount to can a Star Trek show off the network when that's what the network's for. But it's going to resurface for the rest of season 2 because it's supposed to be renewed for season 2. It's not a show I've ever really watched very much. I watched a couple of episodes. I just couldn't get into it. It's too kiddified. It's like Lower Decks. We're coming up to the crossover episode on Strange New Worlds with Lower Decks. I'm a bit worried about how that's going to work, to be honest. And evidently, I saw a clip. Evidently, we're going to get the very first episode that's going to be like One More Time with Feeling with Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical episode.
Yeah,
yeah. I think that they're trying ideas out, which is good. But some of the episodes from this season of Strange New Worlds have been so on point of this is old-fashioned Star Trek. This is what we want. And then some of the episodes have been really well off. But I'm still enjoying Strange New Worlds. I think Anson Mount is brilliant as Pike. I'm not really that keen on the guy who's playing Captain Kirk. But
that's a difficult role to fill, isn't it? It's not easy. But saying that, but then if you're doing a young Kirk and the Kelvin timeline works, but
it's just before, it's a few years before he took over the Enterprise, but he is a captain of the Farragut on this one. But however, in the last episode, there was a lot of really nice canonical nods in the episode. So it is technically the first time that Kirk meets Pike. Now, if you go back into the very first season, like episode 16, the Menagerie, where Spock goes on court martial, and the Commodore, who's with them on the Enterprise, who's doing a court martial with them, says, "Did you ever meet Chris?" And Christopher Pike, and William Shatner as Kirk says, "Yes, I met him when he first became fleet captain." Well, in this episode, he is the fleet captain.
That point of history, they're doing that to appease, I think.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not one of these people who is going to start saying, well, it's ridiculous because this looks absolutely nothing like the Enterprise from the 1960s. Thank God for that, because those sets were bloody awful.
But they're nostalgic in a way, though. But you can't. Unfortunately, we've said it, but you can't reboot a show from the 60s and leave it in the 60s.
No, you can't.
You've got to bring it forward, and as much as it's wrong as it's right, or vice versa, it is what it is for that.
Yeah, and to be honest, the only one I think that they've got really wrong on this show, the only character, because I like Ethan Pecker's Spock. He's a very different sort of Spock to the Leonard Nimoy sort of era, because he's more struggling with some of his emotions, stuff like that.
But that character's got to still evolve anyway to get to the point where he was like, So.
But the character who I think they've got wrong, totally wrong, is Christine Chappell. Because when Marjorie Barrett Roddenberry played Christine Chappell, she was very much an
endearing
sort of like, well, I was going to say woman who would need to be rescued. Do you know what I mean? She wasn't like a dynamic. She's not one. She shouldn't be the type of character that would kick ass. Let's put it that way. Yes, but
she's not that. She is not that.
And that's what's wrong with Christine Chappell in this, is that effectively speaking, she's almost a equivalent to the Doctor, but she's also a kick-ass character, and she's a bit of a what's a female version of a womanizer, a manizer, whatever it is.
But I know there's a lot wrong in this world. There's a lot wrong in this world now, unfortunately, and how the way things go, right or wrong. Again, it's personal opinion, but.
I'm not talking about any political sort of.
No. I think that you don't, with characters, you don't change their attributes.
No.
You're going to reboot it. Still give them the same attributes they had. Don't start making them as something that they weren't when they were in that show.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what they're doing. And even if you're going to have another McCoy, for example, he, where his job is to do is not what you. He's not there to save the world or crawl through shafts, is he? He's a doctor at the end of the day.
Yeah. But that's what I think they've got wrong on this. Anyway, we've got well off topic because we're talking about Star Trek Resurgence. But Star Trek Resurgence really, I think that because they're in the next generation sort of era, and you do come across people that we know that were around in that timeline. I just think that they really hit the nail on the head in terms of making it feel like a proper Star Trek game or a Star Trek episode, but with choices in it. And I really enjoyed it.
Quickly, I just noticed something, and I just saw it briefly as it popped up on some of my viewing screens. They do a show. They go back into our time.
Yes, yeah, that was a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
And that was Kirk and Khan's great. I
don't see anymore, so I will get to see them, but I don't need to know. But
you've seen the clip, so you know which character.
No, I've only seen it on screen. I've not seen any visual clips other than straight images off the show. I've not read what they said. I just noticed that they go back. That's all. So I've not.
Well, you do know that the security officer is a descendant of Khan.
No, I forgot that. So don't tell me anymore. Don't worry. We'll move on. I don't want to know. Go away.
Okay. Anyway, so if you do get the chance, check out Star Trek Resurgence. If you're a Star Trek fan, you should enjoy it. Move on. Let's go to the one that we've both done.
Been out for a while.
Yeah, a few weeks. And it isn't.
Now,
and it's not the wine.
I have to do with that now, even though I can't do that. I can't have much wine at the minute. I could probably do with it. I might have to bring that glass of whiskey over.
Yeah. So the game that we're talking about is, of course, Diablo 4.
And what a good game it was up to last week. Well, we haven't experienced it yet.
I've had no issues with it since, because I don't know how much you've played of it, but I've not played like probably the hours that you have.
Well, I was just going to have a look at it, but just saying, so obviously season started on the 20th this month. That will end in October the 17th, this first season.
Yes.
If you want to access seasonal content, you need to create a new character for the seasonal realm. Continue to eternal realm, not seasonal. Continue to your game. So
yeah, you do. It's like the old seasons on.
but once you've completed the story, though, you should be able to. I'm guessing on that character. Oh no, maybe I'm wrong.
No.
You did that last time. So I'm level 43 in Diablo 4 right now.
Right. I think I'm 41.
I would tell you where we are in the game. I've really enjoyed it so far. It is a fantastic looking game. It plays well as far as I'm concerned as of before this nerf. I don't know if the nerf is more to do with online or to do with seasons or what, I do not know. But these buffs and not buffs they've done have just completely broken the game apparently. So, yeah.
For some people, I think that those are the people who were playing the season though, isn't it?
I don't know. There was... so it's now been classed as the worst ARPG patch of all time, apparently. It's got to that point. And they're not trying to be dramatic about anything at all. But what they've done is they've caused the game metacritically to just go off the precipice, and it's now in a bad way. We thought Bungie had problems, but I think this is worse by the sounds of it.
So you've done 2 days.
Oh, have you looked? Okay.
Yeah, and I've done 1 day and 3 hours.
So I go to my character. So I'm level 43. I can't get to I have to go out. Well, I would have to go out of the wherever I am, wouldn't I? To go and show you where I am. So I'm just going to get my band, my golem, and my skeletons. There's a big barrel that follows me around. Did you get
the premium version of the game?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I've got that.
Right, that explains it, because when you run about getting your golem, I don't have a golem, but I got the standard version. Because to be honest, it just wasn't going to pay 90 quid for the game.
No, I don't think I don't. I think you still get it. Right, if I just do that, let me just run out. So I'm outside. I've not used this for a while. Here we go. So I'm on Act 4, a meeting of minds at the moment.
Where did you get your horse?
End of Act 3.
Right. I think I've got one more mission to do on Act 3.
Right. So end of Act 3, you get your horse, and also there is a side quest which is to get your golem.
Right. Okay.
Now you might have that. I'm guessing you will. You can probably Google it and have a look. But I can't remember how many acts there are, but apparently 4 and
5, aren't there?
Is it 5 or 6?
5.
I know the next 2 apparently are pretty small acts. Apparently, I've been told from a friend. Well, that's interesting. When you bring up the journal, you can reset the dungeons.
There are 6 acts.
6 acts, okay. So the next 2 apparently are pretty quick, leaving the last act, which will be to get to the story. Now, yeah, so you can reset your dungeons. I didn't know this. This is something new to me.
Yeah, because there's higher levels to do the dungeons, but you have to complete it first.
Yeah, because I've done a fair few of them, and I've opened up a fair bit of the map. I was about to say a fair bit. I mean, I haven't really. I don't know how much more there is. There's quite a bit there looking at it. Go around the map there. But yeah, so I'm guessing. I suppose when you do the new character, are you going to stay at the level you're at with your character you're at the moment as well, or do you start from level 1? I can't remember how that works. I might actually do that tonight. I might actually build another character.
I've started on a second character for what do you call it? A necromancer, which I know that you are.
Yeah. I've got another 4 points to spend as well, because I need to investigate the best way to set them up for what you want, how you're going to use them. It's pretty good at the minute, but I've got 4 spare to go. Obviously, level 50 is when you get the Paragon level as well, and things change. I mean, what can I say? That it plays well. I think it plays well on anything you've got, whether it's PC, console. It's a fantastic game, and it's one that it's going to be here for a long time coming. It's not one that you're going to
Oh no, the last one was
Yeah.
here for ages.
It
You
was.
do know about using the elixirs, don't you?
Remind me.
You should always have an elixir on because it gives you a 20%, 5 or 20% XP boost while it's on, which is for about half an hour.
Okay, I probably haven't, but we might have to go and jump on again.
Yeah.
And if we do that, it'd be worth recording. I don't know if we can get to, before the show goes out. Maybe you can put a bit on there. Can you do that or not?
Yeah, I can record it.
Yeah. Even if it's tonight, if you've got time, depending how you are.
Yeah, I got time to go on.
Then we can have a look and yeah, my golem's right. One big beefy character that just rolls around there and pretty good. Also, the horse, the same idea. You remember Red Dead Redemption? How you used to sort of whistle for your horse?
Yeah.
Same idea. Basically, you do your click on it, and the
like
horse
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, same sort of thing. Yeah, brilliant.
I started playing Assassin's Creed on the Steam Deck as well. It plays really well on there.
What is wrong with you? You know, you tell me you'd be having the pass next. Ubisoft pass.
Hang on a minute. I don't need the Ubisoft pass because I own all of the Assassin's Creed games. But Steve, you're the one who has played Destiny, which is measurable in months, and you're asking me about playing a game that takes about 100 hours.
Yeah, I don't know with Destiny. I mean, well, I came off it for a bit. I go back and forth. This, you know, I'm going through the seasonal content, and I'll come back off for a bit, and then we'll have the new content in September, late September, and I'll have to juggle Starfield as well in there. But yeah, no, and then Diablo is a game you're going to be playing for months and years.
Oh, definitely.
And I do love the seasons. When I got hang of it last time, I really got some good armor off of that.
I remember once I got a really weird level where I was getting attacked by sheep. And evidently it was something that was really rare in Diablo 3, that you had to do a certain number of things, and I'd just done them by accident. And I ended up in this world, and I remember talking to somebody we used to do a show with who was pretty obsessed with Diablo 3. And he's like, he didn't know how the hell I'd managed to get into that.
Yeah. But yeah, I have played around with the with upgrading some of the armor now. I've had a little dabble in it just to get a bit of an idea how it works.
Yeah, I've done that, but because we're still ranking up the levels, you end up getting rid of it pretty fast anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I have stayed with this armor for a bit. Whether or not I'm right in how I look at me, but I'm like, 763 attack. My armor's 2,508. My life is 912, and I'm sure that will change as we go. I do have an elixir. I think I've got 4 of them. You know, I've got one of them sitting in my bin at the minute, in my consumables.
Yeah,
so if you use it, okay. Right, increase cold resistance 50% and experience 5% for 30 minutes experience. You may only have one exit active at a time.
Which makes sense of why you're 2 days and you're 2 levels above me. Because I haven't been exclusively using them all the time, but I would say probably the last 5 or 10 levels.
Even though you've caught up level wise. Yeah. But you're still behind in story. Where I'm.
Yeah, but I'm doing side quests. I don't know if you're doing loads of those.
No, I'm just going to get the story done. I need to get the story
done. You see, I'm doing the side quests as well.
And my bank account, if I say, I haven't spent any money on anything. I'm either breaking down armor for parts, which also include giving you the transmog effect.
Yeah.
So my whole character at the minute is in transmog and looks pretty cool like that. I've gone to your wardrobe and I've got a shed load now.
But not everything does have a transmog effect on either.
All the good stuff does. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
and my character, yeah, it looks pretty cool in what I've got at the minute. I haven't sussed out the. Even though I did before, you know, when you got the jewels that you attach to your character and different bits of armor.
Yes.
So you've got
you just look to see what effects that they apply.
I do, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then it just applies.
The red one's more to do with life, for example, give you a bit longer life, and that's what I just have on them. And also, what I've got so I don't remember how this works, but the dark red is the top tier, and the gold is legend, but it's one above it, isn't there?
Yeah, sort of like an orangey colour is legendary.
Yeah, so legendary is like a deep red colour.
Yeah.
And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 pieces of my armour in at that moment. But I'm dismantling everything, getting all for parts because you're going to need those later on. Book of the Dead so the Book of Dead now got me Golem. Yeah, I'm using an iron Golem at the moment.
Right.
You've got bone, blood, and iron for the case of my character. Whether that changes differently with others, I don't know. Probably might not. But yeah, it's just a wonderful, good-looking game. I can't believe how good it is. And shame that patch has gone the way it is. I'm sure they'll fix it. We won't come across it at the minute. I do want to have a little look at seasons, but I really want to get the story done and dusted as well. But again, it's time.
You see, I'm struggling this month. I've got 2 options that I'm thinking of going for, and I think I know which way I'm going to go, because one, I've already got the game, but I've been thinking about maybe ditching it on Xbox and getting Diablo on PC. Seems that it's crossplay.
But also, if you can take your character across as well, I'm sure you can.
Yeah. Whereas if Blizzard is going to become part of Microsoft and then this goes into Game Pass, there's no point in buying it.
At the moment, it might be worth waiting at least till end of October when we're hoping the acquisition's complete.
Yeah.
See what they might not do it till Christmas though, maybe.
No. So my plan is I'm going to buy a Sinden light gun.
Remind me quickly what that is.
Well, you know what a light gun is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's from Sinden. It's a light gun from Sinden. But it's a PC light gun that works with LCDs. So I've got, a few games that can be played as shooters, and obviously you can do emulation and use the gun as well.
Because light guns were originally just for CRTs, aren't they? So
yeah, but what this one does is it has a camera built into the gun, like a webcam, and then it puts a border around the screen, and then what it does is it works out where you're shooting based on the angle and that for the border. So I thought I'm going to get, I've been thinking about it for ages, and I didn't know whether or not to go for this one or there's another one that's called Gun for IR, but that's like mega expensive. Or you can get a Pandora's box with a gun and inbuilt games, but that doesn't allow you to use it on other stuff. So I thought I'll get it off this. Yeah, I'll get that, because it's £90 for the basic one, or if you want the one with recoil, it's about 120.
Okay.
It requires a little bit of configuration, but it's PC. I do that. I quite like doing that sort of stuff. So.
Okay, where did I put it? See, I'm going bonkers here.
What have you lost?
I'm trying to find my phone. Can we turn the lights on? Don't worry me, I'm going to see now, mate.
I'd have thought you'd have had it all set up so that you would just say, illuminate.
No, there we go, look.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Diablo's brilliant. Really enjoying it. Like I said, I've not started the season. I've just started another character on the main story rather than start it on a season, and I've had no problems. And that's after all of the patch stuff. So I think it must be only the season stuff that's caused the problems.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on to movies, TV, and streaming.
In quest of a better life,
All right, so movies, TV, and streaming. Steve, got any news?
Not on top of my head because I've been so far behind today.
Yeah.
Nothing I can think of comes to mind. I'm sure if we talk, we'll suddenly say, "Oh, do you know what? There was this." But
yeah, I mean, for me, the only big bit of news in terms of movies, TV, and streaming is the fact that obviously we've got Empire Cinemas closing, which is, a problem for a lot of places, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what will be interesting to know is that because there's one Empire Cinema that I've used many times in the 80s. That's in Leicester Square.
Yeah.
That is the one opposite the Odeon, if I remember rightly, when you come in from Swiss Cottage on the left, and you've got the Empire Cinema there on your left hand side. Yeah, you can see how that one plays out.
I mean, there was about 12 of them, and I'm just on the website now, and there's Birmingham, Great Park, Clydebank rather, High Wycombe, Ipswich, and Sutton, Surrey.
Doesn't mention one in London then?
Nope.
Oh, okay. One in Wycombe. Okay, that used to be something else. That's where I saw Batman back in 1989.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a different cinema then, though.
But such a shame because I really like those cinemas. But you could tell something was going. The recliner seats, less and less of them were becoming available because I think that they were breaking them and just not fixing them. But such is life. But yeah, that's a number of them closed. Such a great shame. I hope that someone comes to Catterick and reopens that cinema as something else.
I mean, unless another chain buys them, to use them.
But just not every man. Thank you. Just go away.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you want to do the releases, Steve?
Yeah. So 28th of July we have Talk to Me, Knights of the Zodiac, Mayaka, the Forest Song, and the 31st July we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
It's Mavka, isn't it?
Might have been just there's a discrepancy on word.
Yeah. Nothing really much on there that I'm really that bothered about seeing. I just want to see the new Mission Impossible movie.
Yes, no, I'm hoping I can get to see that next month, hopefully.
I have another movie I need to talk about.
Oh, by the way, well. I've ordered the vinyl on Monday.
All right, yeah.
Because I've got the mobile one they haven't released yet.
Kel surprise.
Absolutely. What were you going to say?
I've got another movie I want to talk about as well. So just remind me about the one that I went to the Ritz with that this week.
As long as it's not one we did about earlier.
No.
Okay.
No. Right. So the next one. Blu-ray DVD releases. 45 years ago was Battlestar Galactica.
The original.
The original, yeah, not the TV.
As I said to you, Jaws 2 came out 45 years ago, so you're talking.
Yeah, well,
this is 1970. When was it?
1978.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, excuse me, Battlestar Galactica.
Is that the whole lot?
Anniversary Steelbook.
Is that the whole lot? Is that the whole lot of the show?
No, it's the movie.
So this is episode 1 and 2, then, isn't it? Is it the introduction?
Well, I mean, yeah, they call it episode, 1 and 2 on the TV series version of it. But when I saw it, the Battlestar Galactica, it was a movie, and I went to the cinemas to see it.
This was a pilot as well, in a way, as well.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was.
Because I remember Jane Seymour. That's what swung it for me, if I remember rightly.
Other ones are pop culture-y ones that we might be interested in. Super Mario Brothers Limited Edition 4K.
No.
Actually, it's not bad. It's not bad at all as a movie. I quite enjoyed it. And then on the 31st, we've got Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves. on 4K and limited edition
That's the
steelbook.
one with Chris Pine, isn't it?
It is, and it's okay. I would say it's one of those. I can't remember the story now, and it's only it's not that long since I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a brain in the bucket job, isn't it? So,
yeah, it was an entertaining movie for a couple of hours that I don't really want to reinvest my time in.
Also, then, can I dig some favourites there that I quite like?
Yeah.
Black Christmas.
Right.
Very good movie. And as it's his anniversary of his death, I think it is this week as well, we have the Bruce Lee at the Golden Harvest limited edition on Arrow.
Yes.
Now, have you seen it on Arrow, what it was? It's a lovely box set. It's about like this. It's huge. I think it was about over £100 for it. But I'm waiting for August. Now, I won't be able to get the special edition that came out that's already sold out. I missed it. But one of his famous films of all time is coming out separately on 4K as well, which I'm sure you probably know. Two Dragons.
Yeah.
So that's coming out in August. But there is a lot of films. I've actually got them all on Sky now, all penciled in on my box. All of them, all those ones in that box set. They've released them, so I just downloaded them today. But yeah, the Bruce Lee movies are, for me, they're sort of special. I don't know if you've watched many of them.
I think that this might be just the slight difference between our ages. Bruce Lee wasn't such a impactful figure for me.
Because he was on my wall in a big poster.
Yeah.
And although didn't see the early ones, so back, one of the ones is actually one of the movies is sort of in its original form, so I'm gonna have to watch it in subtitles, which isn't a problem. But he's done a shed load of movies, and just look forward to actually going back to catching some of those, even though they've been parodied over the years. You can remember that as well. There's been a lot of that. But he's got his background, his career, as well as his filmography, is huge. Because I think he started in 1941 with a bit part, believe it or not.
Yeah. Was on the Green Hornet, wasn't he?
Yeah. And Enter the Dragon, of course, is the ultimate one.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. I think his last, the Game of the Death films he did 3 of those. They were pretty cool as well. But it's a shame the way it went, But yeah, it's just he is an icon all over the world. Yeah, so a bit shame. But yeah, that's really good to see that they had that out. Nothing else actually coming out this month, Blu-ray wise. So
no, it's quite quiet.
Yeah, I'm guessing some of the films that are coming out now will be released at Christmas in January.
Yeah, and also things like Guardians and all of those, they'll be coming up in probably August, September, October sort of time.
Yeah.
Guardians is a good movie.
So anyway,
the charts are for last week, because we always have to work a week in hand with these. But basically for movies, we have The Little Mermaid at number 5, which has evidently have you seen all of the controversy about Snow White?
Someone posted me on my Facebook about that. Go on, tell me. I've not read it yet. I'm guessing. Go on.
The world's gone mad because it's not Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, because
you can't say dwarfs.
Yeah, basically.
It's Snow White and the 7 Little People.
Snow White and the magical creatures, or something or other like that. I can't remember what they're called.
Why do they just call it Snow White? Just make it plain and simple.
Yeah, but there's evidently all sorts of stuff going down with it because The Little Mermaid was such a massive flop as well.
Was it? I thought not my cup of tea, and definitely, yeah. The kiddies, I'm guessing.
Mm.
So it's just called Snow White. Is it called Snow White at the minute?
Yeah, but they don't call them dwarfs in it because.
So Gal Gadot's in it.
Yes, she is. She's the mother, isn't she? But anyway, I just think it's just more of the Disney.
She's playing the evil queen. Come on,
yeah.
She should be Snow White if we're going to go the right way around.
Well, yeah, but she's too old for Snow White.
It's a young teenager, isn't it? I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm looking at the cast list now.
So number 4 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is a great movie to watch if you like animated movies. There's lots of different animation styles in there as well. I really enjoyed that. Number 3 is Insidious: The Red Door. At number 2,
that's overtaken Indiana Jones now.
Yeah, well, at number 2 was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And then number 1 is evidently was Elemental, which beat Indiana Jones somehow. In terms of the Blu-ray charts, we have at number 5, Renfield. At number 4, Jaws 2. At number 3, Bruce Lee, Gold Harvest. At number 2, Evil Dead Rise. And at number 1, The Last of Us Season 1.
Didn't know it was out yet, actually.
No, neither did I.
Evil Dead Rise, that is.
Oh, I knew that one was out, yeah.
Last one, I knew that was coming out. I've still got them all in my box anyway.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's like The Last of Us, when you actually look at it, it's just like about an outbreak of really bad athlete's foot. Anyway, Steve, what have you been watching?
So, something that we discussed earlier. So I've been listening to Rob Brydon's podcast. As I say, he did a couple. He did one with Steve Pemberton and one with Reece Shearsmith. They're very well known for being one half of the League of Gentlemen.
If you watched it,
and it's a fantastic show. It's got a lot of pop culture regarding horror movies and stuff over the years. It all blends in with it. Same idea.
Yeah. It never. I don't know. It just never worked for me as a show. But
there's some stuff, even for the Wicker Man and stuff. There's all this sort of stuff in it that you pick up on. Anyway, so there's a series that I didn't know existed because until it was mentioned, called Inside Number 9, which you've already just binged.
Yeah, I finished that about a couple of months ago. Yeah.
So I've started. They're only about are they 50 minutes long, or are they half an hour?
About 45, I think.
Yeah. So there's 50 episodes to watch.
Yes.
I'm on season 2 because I think it's something like about 7 episodes a season, and there might be a Christmas special as well.
Yeah, I think there is.
If you've not heard of this and you do like them, or even if you remember the TV show Toes Unexpected, which just pinged in my mind straight away.
Yeah.
It's well worth a watch. Every one is a gem in its own right. Every week has a different star in it. There's people on and off the screen from different shows that you've been watching over the years. David Warner was in the last one I watched, bless him. He passed away not long ago. And I just think they're so good, really good. I mean, there was one there called which was to do with the standing where one of them was playing a role in Hamlet or something, and standing there was just being ridiculed, and he ended up getting a role, but the woman that looked after the main actor did him over. But they are just so clever.
Yeah, they're that and Black Mirror. They're two very sort of similar shows. Have you ever seen Black Mirror?
I have watched a little bit of it. Yeah. Actually, I noticed, funny enough, is on Netflix at the moment. There's the picture for Black Mirror.
Yeah, because there's a new season out.
Yeah, and there's a lady on the front of it at the moment. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen all the episodes.
So something else I've just finished watching, finally, it's taken me God knows how long, was to finish watching Killing Eve.
Right. Never even started it.
So we watched the first 2 seasons, then we took a break. That break's been forever. So we finished that off. I got gobsmacked by the ending of the show. It really, and my missus, even for her jaw dropped and the tongue rolled out on the floor, sort of thing. Not what I expected, even though I guessed it maybe to a certain degree.
Mm.
But going back to Inside Number 9, there's another show they did called Psychoville. I don't know if you ever got to saw that. This is very macabre sort of TV. League of Gentlemen and Psychoville, very similar sort of things. But all the characters, the League of Gentlemen is really, that started off as a play to a radio show to go to TV for those guys. And it's won so many awards and worth going to if you've not seen it. What else have we been watching? So, where it's been a bit late, Channel 4 have been a bit late with the Big Bang Theory's sideshow of Young Sheldon.
Mm.
Season 4 is on Netflix. So we've just been there. And then I finished it and turned over. Literally, the advert for Young Sheldon on Channel 4 was a new season. I thought, I've just seen the whole lot. What are you doing putting it on now? That was really good. There was some nice little Easter eggs in this season with the show. I mean, have you ever watched it?
No, I haven't.
It is, honestly, it's good TV.
Yeah,
if you like Big Bang, you will appreciate, even because he's really young now. If you go back to episode 1 of the first season, he is really a little kid, and he's now grown up a fair bit in four seasons.
I'll tell you what, it was my son's prom, and he's got a friend, one of his friends who he went to prom with.
Yeah.
Because he just went with his mates. He didn't do a date sort of thing. It was just a group of them went. And one of his friends, when you saw him in his prom stuff,
yeah,
you could have just put him on the Young Sheldon sort of picture. Because we have started calling him Sheldon when I see him. He's absolutely a doppelganger for that kid, even though he's like 17. Is this kid and all?
Yeah,
but it's just so funny how very similar.
Well, there is you still get the voice. You get voiceovers from Sheldon.
Yeah.
Through the show, and there's even a couple of. In the season, there's a couple of little bits that give you a good smile regarding the old show, with voiceovers and actually a little bit of footage as well in it, where it brings you back to certain things in the show.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good comedy show. And although we keep thinking now, how long is the dad going to be alive? Because obviously his dad passed away when he was young, and even though the 4 seasons he's gone from being at school and now he's in university at a young age, because
he's
sort of, because what he's like. It's a really good show. Other than that, I'm trying to think off the back of my head, what have we been watching? Something would probably come to mind, but probably not at the minute. I will say, have you seen the new trailer for Willy Wonka?
No.
Have a look at that. Yeah, you know what? It's coming out Christmas. This is might be a bit interesting.
Might not.
No, I mean I've grown up as a kid watching that from my era with Gene Wilder, and obviously I took the kids to see the Johnny Depp version as well,
which was okay.
It was all right. Christopher Lee was in it. He was pretty good as the dentist, wasn't he? But yeah,
I preferred Steve Martin as the dentist.
Well, it's still of horrors, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to talk about what you've seen, and then we'll go to the other one?
Okay. Well, 2 things to talk about. First off, is the full Monty series 1.
I've started watching that.
What do you think?
I need about, I think, 2 episodes in, I think, because we lost Disney Plus on our planner because it disappeared because of my daughter. But we now got it back because we started to watch it before. It is really how you think they may well be years later.
Yeah, I actually really like the story that they've done. It ends very well as a season, and I hope they do more, because there's certainly the scope for it in there. I love the directions of taking all of the characters.
Well, the one that was in Only Fools and Horses, I've only seen him, so I've seen about 20, and he's a bit of a hoarder, isn't he? And he's not doing well in life, bless him. But yeah, it's a little bit sad at the moment. That's sort of part of the charm. I'm hoping it.
There are more sad parts to come.
Yeah, the main character though, he's great, isn't he?
Robert Carlyle.
Yeah. He's a good actor, and it started well. Let's put it that way. I mean, they're quite long as well. I think they're over an hour long. Yeah,
they are. They're really long episodes. It's a hell of a lot longer than the whole of the movie was. But I really like what they've done with it. I think it's very well done.
Can we talk a little bit about the first couple of episodes? Where I'm at?
Yeah, go on then.
Because he's got back. He's seen his daughter, who he doesn't see very often, and
yes,
this is sort of come. They've sort of met up again. It's been a while, and they've got that dog.
Yeah. The kid, his daughter steals a car, which just so happens to have the Crufts champion in it.
Well, no, it's not that. It's from Britain's Got Talent.
Britain's Got Talent. That's it. Yeah, Britain's Got Talent's dog. And then Robert Carlyle tries to sell the dog back to the owner. And he's saying, like, I don't want it because it's a pain in the backside.
Yeah, and he sprayed it different colours so people don't notice it.
Yeah.
I think the last bit I saw is where he was trying to shoot it and his daughter comes in. What are you doing?
Yeah. I think it's a very sort of human show, if you know what I mean. I think it really does show what where those characters would have got to. I think.
Yeah, because one of them's in school, isn't he? His wife actually runs a school, but he's a janitor or something, isn't he? So
and his wife is the same wife as in the original show.
Oh well, I can't remember. I need to rewatch that. I think.
Yeah, she is, because I was looking at it and said that can't be his wife, because I remember her being like this, and she's like looks like a real woman now. To be fair, it was her, and I was sort of like, oh my god, because he's the one who was on the Tesco adverts and on Trolleyed, wasn't he?
Was that
the one who wrapped himself up with foil on the on the movie? But yeah, it's such a good movie. There is some real heartfelt episodes in there. Wait until you get to the one where they're in the job centre.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, it's not what you think.
No,
it's not.
So there are, how many episodes are there? There's only 8. Is there 5 episodes? No,
8.
What are they called? Oh no, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, no, you laugh and cry, I think, in that show. I think there's a way it's going to go.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is one of those shows that I think it's a modern show in terms of in terms of the way that it represents everything from poverty, unemployment, marital affairs, inequality, relationships, family, sexuality, pressures of age, concerns, self-harm, suicide, mental health, asylum seekers. All of that is in there, and it is dealt with so incredibly well. I think whoever's wrote it has done a fantastic job on this show. The characters, even the new ones, feel really well thought through.
Yeah,
and feel like that they've got depth, and it was just great to see the original ones back in action, especially when somebody recognises them and makes them do the dance.
Yeah, no, it is. I think I was hesitant to look at it.
I was,
and I thought, this could either go really bad. But yeah, we need to go back to that.
Yeah.
But it's even just the beginning when it opens up, when you see where they did the show, and it sort of speeds up time to what it's like. It's all derelict now, and the kids are jumping on. That part of Sheffield, isn't it?
I mean, when you actually look, that part of Sheffield that looked derelict actually looked quite populated and in good condition compared to what it's like now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, it was. I think it was a really well done sort of show, and I hope that they do season 2 for it as well.
Yeah, maybe it's that sort of show. It's not got an ending that will finish the show. It's got a possibility of more stories and.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I kind of like got a vibe off in terms of the way that they seem to have approached this. Is that this show, I think, probably owes a lot to Cobra Kai. And you're going to think, why the hell?
No. I know what you mean. Because the way it's a drama at the end of the day, isn't it? And
it is, but it's a multi-generational drama, and and in a way that Cobra Kai took a movie and put it into a TV show, and then added new characters of a different generation, so that you've got the old ones going with the new ones, and it makes it a mishmash of a new show, but still with the original spirit. That's what this does, but the British version of that without karate.
Yeah,
basically. So yeah, it's well worth a watch. Definitely put that on. Another one that's worth a watch is Foundation. Season 2 of that's on Netflix. I've just finished watching Silo as well, which was really good. But Foundation is the Isaac Asimov books put to a TV series.
Right.
But you have to have Apple TV to be able to watch it. So I won't go on about that. Just if you've got Apple TV, have a watch of Foundation. It's worth the investment in time. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about before we go on to the one we've both seen is Asteroid City.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So this has a great cast. You've got Bryan Cranston, Ed Norton, Scarlett Johansson. You've got who else on there? Tom Hanks, Matt Dillon. There's loads of famous actors on this. This is quite possibly one of the weirdest movies I have ever seen in my entire life. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean in a good way. Everything that you see in the trailer are probably the best bits. It's one of those movies.
Okay, yeah.
So it's very stylized. It starts off in black and white, and what do you call him? I've forgotten his name. I've already just mentioned it. Bryan Cranston is like the narrator to it, but you see him come on. It's in the same way as you saw like Rocky Horror Show with the narrator. Do you know what I mean? You just see he stands on. It's very 1950s old-fashioned sort of thing, and it's all black and white. And he's talking about the production of a stage show of Asteroid City, and then when it goes into Asteroid City, it is actually the stage show, but it's in colour, and it's a very, very particular sort of colour palette as well, and it burns your eyes. Basically, it's very pastel-y sort of colours, but bright blues, bright yellows. The reds are a little bit muted, and like some colours look like a bit of a bluey green sort of tinge, sort of thing. But basically, it's about a city called, a town called Asteroid City, where there's a military research base, some shops and stuff like that, and next to nothing happens in this place. But there was an asteroid that hit and caused a crater, and basically one guy's car gets broke down and he ends up there. Then all these other people appear on the bus or on the train and stuff like that. And it's all for Asteroid Day, and these kids do these examples of, you know, stuff that they've invented and stuff like that. The whole delivery of it is absolutely stone-faced deadpan. I'm surprised it didn't have Ryan Gosling on it, because his emotionless face would have been perfect for it. But it's absolute deadpan, and there's a lot of semi-incoherent prattling on each scene, leading to the delivery of jokes done in a deadpan way that land about as well as the asteroid that hit and killed the dinosaurs in a lot of places. Some are actually quite funny, but most are not. And I want to say I'm glad I've seen it, but I'm not particularly glad I've seen it, because if I'd have known what it was going to be like, I wouldn't have bothered. Because it looks great when you actually look at the trailer, because it's very, you know, it is very deadpan and stuff like that, but it goes on for the whole way. Everybody's very stiff. I mean, you know, you could have had Nicolas Cage on here and he would have looked like probably the most limber actor in the whole cast. And you know, how wouldn't you think I think he is? But it just didn't work for me. And I think it's one of those films of anybody who says this works is trying to make themselves look like a movie intellectual, and that, oh, you just didn't get it and I got it because I'm such a, you know, so good. It was not very good. Is the basic upshot. Anybody who says it was good, they've got a warped idea of what's good, because it wasn't funny, and it was pretty uninteresting in, you know, other than what the hell are they doing now sort of way, as opposed to, oh, what are they doing now? Do you know what I mean? And and half of the jokes you could see them coming off for a mile. So don't bother watching this. Don't go to the cinema for it. It's not worth it.
Well, this new film, the new Christopher Nolan film's out now, isn't it?
Yeah, Oppenheimer. Now that does look good, and it's evidently got great reviews as well.
I'm hearing good reports about it, yeah.
But have you heard about Barbieheimer? Have you heard about this?
Go on.
This is effectively how some people are actually watching this movie, Oppenheimer. They're watching Barbie and then having an Oppenheimer chase. But it's one of the it's this sort of like phenomenon that's being talked about on the internet. How normally films like Armageddon and Deep Impact, two films that sort of like released at the same time and are joined and, you know, create a synergy between them, whereas evidently there's some sort of like weird perverse synergy with these two films that are on different ends of the spectrum.
I saw a Star Trek shuttlecraft called the Barbie one in pink for sale. Right. Do me a favour. Do me a freaking favour.
Yeah.
And it's the number most anticipated movie of all time, Barbie, at the moment this year. Can you believe that?
No, I can't. It's about the marketing.
So I'm looking forward to Meg 2 rather than the bloody Barbie.
I don't fancy the Barbie movie at all, but I think Oppenheimer will be really interesting. I've heard good reviews about it, and it's Christopher Nolan. It's not like he's known for making bad movies.
Could he actually direct the next Bond movie?
No.
He'd like to, you see. He's come out and said it.
I think he might like to, but I don't think he would be the right director.
But yeah, that was just a thought that was coming out. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Anyway, The Flash.
Yes. Better than I expected, to be fair. Depends what you're looking for in it. I mean, This film comes in 3 parts, I think.
I would say this movie, in terms of level of expectation of how much I was going to enjoy it, I had more expectations with Indiana Jones, which was a better movie, to be fair. Indy 5, that is. Well, it was a better movie. But the point, I stand by what I said to you, and I said this months before it got released. The best parts of this movie are going to be anything that doesn't relate to Ezra Miller, and I stand by that after watching it.
Well, I think once we get the first 20 minutes was great. I enjoyed that. Just sort of point the fact that it was seeing Wonder Woman, Batman, Justice League bit that will,
I'll qualify that. I enjoyed the Batman parts. The baby shower was, humorous. It was a shower.
It was a shower of humorous, light-hearted, whatever.
It was a shower of something.
No, babies.
Well, no, it was more of a shower of what babies produce in nappies. Because the special effects in that were useless.
I'd have to have a look again and look at that scene somewhere, just to have another digest it. That wasn't the worst part of the effects anyway.
No, it wasn't by a country mile.
No.
I can't understand how this movie, which is one of the most expensive movies ever made, looked worse than the Flash TV show.
Because they got more money to spend, and that's why you can either go wrong or right with it.
Steve, let's be honest. This is one of the most expensive movies ever made to a TV show.
Oh yeah,
that has a limited budget.
Yeah,
they had.
But you work better with a limit. You can work better. A crafter can work better with a limited budget than with having too much. And that sometimes fails. But I know where you're going with that at the beginning. The bit that annoyed me a bit too much to a certain degree was seeing both of them together, both Millers.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ezra Miller on his own is annoying, but seeing him twice, and somehow his younger self seemed to be even more obnoxious.
No, he was very, but I suppose because he was without.
He was young.
Spoiler. He was very younger version, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's why he was more obnoxious, probably. Obviously, from that point of view. But all right, rightly or wrongly, Ezra Miller was given this role. He needed it taken away. They could have done something with it. I don't know.
Well, they couldn't have done anything.
It would have cost too much money to do that again anyway.
They would have had to have reshot the whole movie.
Or dump it.
Yeah. Well, it would have been dumping it and restarting again. Or
just dump it and say forget it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't afford to. They can't do that.
I'm
glad they didn't.
Because it got us to see Michael Keaton.
And he was so good.
He was absolutely fantastic.
Even when he's not Batman and he's being Bruce Wayne, although he was a bit ropey, only bless him, due to his financial situation. Maybe I don't know how you're going to put it really, but
I'll tell you what I thought was really stupid was that fight scene in the Wayne mansion where they go and see Bruce, where he attacks them, because that was really stupid, because they covered his face up the whole time because he had long grey hair and stuff like that. It was obvious it was done as a big reveal, but yet they'd revealed it all in the trailer, which made that whole thing absolutely pointless. If they'd have not put Michael Keaton on the trailer, that would have been one of the best moments in cinema history.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to hide that.
Maybe not, because they did some of the other cameos under wraps.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, and we'll put a timestamp in. But forgetting the other cameos in this because we're talking a multiverse story.
Yes.
You couldn't hide the fact that Michael Keaton was in this movie because it was all, even when they were shooting it and you saw that there were some images of the Batmobile, you can't get away from the fact of, you know, that he was in it. It couldn't have been hidden.
They could have said it was being done as a flashback to him being
Yeah,
dead
maybe,
in a...
but I mean, it's like well, that didn't, like, what did fail and was with the Star Trek scenario with Into Darkness, you know, it's a way you try and hide who a character is. A right way and a wrong way of doing it, and that was again the wrong way of doing it, but nevertheless.
I think in terms of you mean we can't?
Yeah.
Well, it was just the wrong person to be cast. Not that there was anything the matter with version of Khan.
No, because
Benedict's
they tried to hide that fact. Although in you know, now with IMDb and everything else, and this, you know, you haven't got that privilege anymore of going to cinema and really being taken aback because it's something you did not completely know about.
I did not completely know about the very last reveal. Not the very, very last reveal, the second from last reveal. I'd guessed. I
was saying to the missus, I'm going, hang on a minute, this isn't going to be who we think it is. I said
no,
and because we've been playing with the multiverse, and to be honest, I loved all of that. That last 40 minutes, is it? You know, with the fight onwards and with them doing what they did.
With the chrono ball.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it. I you know, every bit of that. And
I like the idea of that. I loved. Right, okay, this is going to be spoiler time now because we're in that bit, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, click on the chapter forward if you're on YouTube to miss this. Otherwise, just skip on a few minutes because we're going to do spoilers. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. So the big spoiler, was obviously, as I predicted.
Should we do it in order? Should we do this in order?
Oh, go on then. Yeah. Okay.
So the multi-universe is going. Excuse my French. Is going tits up.
Yeah.
Batman dies while trying to save everybody else with his bat plane.
Yes,
and
Supergirl dies as well.
And Supergirl dies with Zod trying to get the blood out of her.
Why? Because in this universe, what we've got to remember here is in this version of the universe, Superman didn't arrive at Earth.
No,
but his cousin did. And Supergirl had all of the Kryptonian DNA infused in her rather than in Superman. So that's why she's been held in a Russian prison underground for years and years and years. So that's why it's all.
Can we go back a bit further?
Yeah.
And Eric Stoltz did play Marty McFly.
Oh yeah, you beat me to it. That was. Out of anything that came out of Ezra Miller's mouth in that movie, that was the best bit.
I cried. I had to explain to the missus because she wouldn't have known that, you know, he started filming it and then Michael J. Fox took over from Family Ties.
Do you know what? I love this. I was so proud of my son because he said, that was the guy who did it before Michael J. Fox. I was like, yes, son, you are one of us. It's taken me years, but you are one of us. Yeah. So that was absolutely brilliant. And I kept repeating that as well. And I was saying, Michael J. Fox, what, the guy off Family Ties?
He had a tattoo of Eric Stoltz on his flatmate on his side, didn't he?
Yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. That was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and there was a couple of bits I cannot remember them now, but I think there was a couple of other people or some things that didn't work right as well. But
yeah, but the way that they described the time difference here is it wasn't the Back to the Future if you go onto a parallel timeline, but everything before that was the same. And the way that I thought they gave a really good description with the spaghetti, where it's like you jump from imagine like Kaplunk or something with lots of sticks crossing over each other.
That's right. And
you jump from one stick to another, so that the start and end points are different. And I like the way that they did that, because that really did mean that you could bring in Michael Keaton's Batman, as opposed to saying, well, why doesn't he still look like Ben Affleck, which he did at the beginning of the movie? Why isn't Superman here? Why isn't, all the questions that you could have asked.
Because he was on Google, wasn't he? Wonder Woman doesn't exist, and really? And he was going through all this. And
all of that, I thought was that was good. Good way that they've done that right, and I like the idea of you hop into a different universe sort of thing.
I think the idea. I mean, you think to yourself, how would I go and change an event? What's the best way to do it? And doing the can of tomatoes, which would have stopped his dad going out to the store and his mum dying as she did. Whether that was an intruder, we didn't really know, because we couldn't have seen it. She could have slipped and fell on that night for all we know. But that was quite a poignant way of sitting that time. And then him to say this, he threw the spaghetti into the bowl and then all the sauce. Said, "There's your multi-universe with all the spaghetti all tangled up in a big jumble." Yeah.
So it's a completely different take on a multiverse to the way that. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's the same take in a way that they did in Marvel, because if you think about it, they went back at Endgame and then past Thanos came forward, but he came forward and died in a universe that he'd, in theory. So he'd jumped into a different universe.
I wonder, I don't know if he couldn't have done it really, but why couldn't we have Arrow in this as well?
Yeah.
Which would have been good.
It would have been.
Because even if the multiverse, you would have seen the Arrow from the TV show, or even the Flash from the TV show.
Now, and evidently he was really quite peed off about the fact that he didn't get a guest appearance in it.
Because obviously when we had the globes of each universe colliding with each other, that we did see the original Flash from the TV back in the 60s, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And we also
saw his cone hat and his little sort of.
Didn't we also see his dad? The new TV show's dad's as the Flash, because
I don't know if that was him or not. I thought that was going to be obviously the original Flash from the beginning, because that was the same in the TV show, wasn't it? Because you had the guy with the tin hat with the lightning coming out the top of the hat.
No, on the 90s TV show, he had the mask and everything.
No, but you did see.
Oh yeah, you saw that version, yeah.
Yeah, you saw the version in the Flash as well.
But the thing that I liked, and I predicted this weeks ago, when I said to you, I'm going to be cagey about what I heard.
Yeah, because you heard. Yeah, there was rumours flying. I'm glad I didn't hear them, because you came in my head, and I'm thinking. I enjoyed it though. I actually Nicolas Cage donning Christopher Reeve's outfit.
No, it wasn't Christopher Reeve's outfit.
I know, but it was.
He was in the Superman suit that was designed for him when he was going to do Kevin Smith's version.
Yeah, but as I say, you still go back to being Christopher Reeve originally, but yeah.
Yeah, but Christopher Reeve was there, as was the
original Supergirl.
Yeah, Supergirl.
Didn't he look great though? It really pulled my heartstrings a bit, actually, seeing him there.
It did, because at the end of the day, when you look at what he did after he broke his neck, he was a Superman.
Yeah.
In every respect of the word.
Yeah.
But in terms of that, we have the ability to have absolutely lifelike looks, and the quality of the special effects was terrible. It looked like an upscale PlayStation 2.
No, but what you're talking about, the
colliding of the worlds and the Chrono.
Well, actually, they were fine. I didn't mind that, but what I didn't like was when you see it the first time, when you come back in time, and then it's like an arena around him, and all these pop-ups of characters that just seemed a bit ropey.
But it
But
was all
you have
ropey.
to no, but you have to say though, seeing Christopher Reeve, I think he looked pretty good.
No, he looked like a bad PS2 character.
No, he looked better than he looked better there than some of the parts. I thought they weren't bad.
You seriously telling me with all of the filming of all of the movies,
they can't even get a face right on Indiana Jones, for Christ's sake. That probably even though it's going to be all smudgy the way he did it, the face technology didn't even work for Indiana Jones, and we won't even go to that yet because I've not seen it. But
Steve, the face technology in Indiana Jones was 10 times better than what was in this movie. I'm telling you, that
well,
face
I think it was the way they were supposed. That was how they wanted to perceive it. I think.
Maybe it was a design choice, but it was a bad design choice. Is the point I'm making?
But you knew it was him, though. You still knew it was him. You could tell it.
Oh yeah, yeah, but
I wouldn't say PS2. You're being a bit too.
All right, upscale PS3. Then.
You're being a little bit critical there on the fact of that, but nevertheless, although we see the original Superman as well in his universe.
Well, the 1950s Superman.
Yeah, well, I used to watch that in the cinema. Well, not in the cinema, in a community block. I used to watch that on a Saturday mornings on celluloid. And even Batman, Adam West as Batman, we saw his universe slightly to one side as well.
Yeah, very slight. Yeah, he was there, which was good. I mean, in terms of, but this is what I'm saying. Everything that we're talking about that was good about this movie was not Ezra Miller.
Did you guess who it was?
Oh yeah, it was obvious. It was absolutely obvious, and I thought that the Dark Flash was who it was going to be, and then when Young Flash got injured in the way that he got injured, that confirmed it to me. I thought as soon as I saw it, I thought that's where that's going to go. It's and I was absolutely. It was. I thought it was just so obvious the way that they did it.
That was fine. That was, I mean, that was pulling at the heartstrings from that point of view. But yeah, I still think I think that part of the movie was really good. I really enjoyed that part. I just thought, give us more of that. Regardless of what your thoughts are on Christopher Reeve, how he looked. I think they didn't do a bad job. You probably need to rewatch it to maybe give you a second opinion. But the only special effects I weren't keen on was the time travel sequence. Although some of it was all right with the way that the sand and everything was going and all the lightning, but it was the actual images you got of the characters as you saw the time progress and that arena around them. That was the bit that I weren't keen on. I didn't mind the globes of time all crashing together like balls. That was fine. I
didn't mind that.
But
but everything that was good, apart from the Eric Stoltz bit, was not to do with the Flash.
Unfortunately, Ezra Miller is going to be a Marmite character, isn't he? Really, I have a little bit more Haydn.
I think Marmite is probably more popular than he is.
but what I mean is, I think, I mean, I don't mind the Justice League. And I do enjoy the Schneider edition now at File Superior. I mean, Ezra Miller's, whatever, is what it is. Unfortunately, if you can get by that bit, it's a good film.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what's his name, Grant Gustin, is infinitely superior as the Flash. Infinitely.
That's because we've had him for so long as well.
No, even from the very first episode. And don't forget, most of the time that we've had Grant, we've also had Ezra Miller. Because Justice League goes back a lot of years as well. So
mind you, Ezra Miller did meet the TV Flash.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Briefly.
But I much preferred Grant's take on it. I don't like the way that the swim run that he does on the film, and
mean
yeah, it looks
before he kicks
stupid.
off.
Yeah, it just looks stupid. I think he was the
Actually,
most.
Sheldon could have played it better.
Yeah, I think he's the most miscast actor in a role. It needed to be a much stronger and much better character, and I just think it's a shame. And I think it's a really bad that they didn't put Grant in that film as a part of that multiverse as well. Talk about, that's an Injustice League.
Well, Sacha Kelly played Zara.
She was really good.
She was really good. I mean, who knows whether they'll make another Flash, and if they change it or what, I don't know. But yeah, no, I would like to see more DC. If I could,
I'm hoping that the new DC, the gun version of the universe is going to be good. I think that they've made a big mistake getting rid of Henry Cavill.
Yeah, that's down to it. There's a lot involved in that. We don't know why, but it's more than
it's stuff that we don't know, but maybe because it's going to be Bond.
I'd like to think that's the case. Really, I still do, but who knows?
Yeah.
And I suppose if we go to before the end credits, obviously it was very nice that he took the tomatoes back out of the went back in time to his mum, took the tomatoes back out of the tin, got to see his mum for the last time. I liked all that. It's fine.
Yeah. And also because of where he put it, meant that his father got off. And then when he went back to the normal time, what happened? So, that was something I'd not heard. I'd predicted. I thought, I wonder if there's going to be another one appear. But when that happened,
well, when you see, so it was great to see his dad come off and everything else and that, and then he's on the phone to Bruce, and he just you see that lovely electric car, whatever pulls up.
BMW, wasn't it?
BMW. I'm thinking. I said to him, I said,
was it a Bentley? Might have been a Bentley.
Possibly, yeah. I said to her, don't expect what you think you're going to see. I said, what do you mean? No, just hang on a minute, just wait. And then I just cried out laughter, and mine excellent.
And that was one that was.
I was waiting for him to go with a coffee cup, maybe. And she obviously said she hadn't seen Batman and Robin, but that was spot on.
Yeah, John. So having him appear as Batman again was brilliant. Yeah. I don't think they could have used Val in there because he's not been well, has he?
No.
But George, on the other hand, perfect. That was a perfect end for that, and also it neatly. I was going to say it neatly bottles up the Ezra Miller Flash, because he can stay in that universe now. And it's probably a universe that the way that his character felt with Batman, with Batflick, probably one that he'll feel better with, because it seemed like the Clooney version had a better relationship with Miller.
Mm.
With.
Then, if that was the case, then there will be a Robin somewhere.
Yeah, there will. Or it might be Nightwing now.
Yeah, whatever. Of some kind,
Yeah. So I think the way that they ended it was very good, because they can bring him back if they want to, but let's hope that they don't.
Well, I'd like to say that if they could bring Michael Keaton back, even if it's in his own universe.
Well, if they want to bring him back in 40 years, that's fine, because I'll probably be dead.
Yeah. So how long were those credit sequences to the end? That must have been a good 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, it was quite long.
Quite long. But I thought it was worth the wait just to see Aquaman pissed.
Yeah.
And fall in the water, as if that's where I don't want to go to a bed. I'm happy in that puddle of water because that's where I'm happiest.
Yeah. The man who's named after a part of a meal.
Yeah.
Arthur Curry.
So it's nice to see him in there. I mean, we know who knows what they're going to do next. We'll have to wait and see if anything comes out. But as I say, overall, it weren't a bad film. It's got its good bits and bad bits, but the beginning and the end and a little bit in the middle, I wasn't too keen on. So it's over 2.5 hours long.
Mm.
So if they ever do a director's cut, they could shorten the middle bit out and give us a good film, even better film.
If they should take the middle bit out, though, that'll take a lot of the Michael Keaton stuff out.
No, I'm about the bit before Batman.
Oh, where he meets himself.
Yeah, where some of that you could have shortened it down a bit, but keep the extra bit in there.
Yeah, in a matter of fact, I wonder what it'd have been like to have just done a movie about that universe without the Flash in it. That'd have been quite good.
But it is. It was very good to watch that night. Last night, I really enjoyed it. At that point, we all can be critical in our own way, and we all have our own take on it. Some can be more harsh than others, and I'll wait and see what happens about Indiana Jones when I get to see that.
I mean, if you think I'm being harsh, you want to hear some of the other people I've heard talk about the movie.
Well, some friends of mine have seen it, and I haven't heard some of them yet, so it'd be spoiler territory. But yeah, no, I've heard it's a shower of. I've heard that Indiana Jones is a shower of complete dog food. That's what I've heard. And I've critically, many people have said how bad it is. So I mean, the only person that actually said it was pretty good to a certain degree was Mark Kermode. He added a bit of. He was maybe a little bit more level-headed. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, Mark Kermode's someone who I don't. He's not my favourite reviewer by a very long shot.
Mm.
But actually, I'm with him on that.
But I'll just go back to the Flash. I did love the bit where she had a truth lasso around Batman.
That was funny. Again.
And even Ezra Miller, when he come out with, I just giggle. It made me laugh.
Yeah. But again, you're talking about a bit that was about Batman and Wonder Woman. Mate, wish Wonder Woman was in it more. I really do. I know Wonder Woman, the second movie wasn't as great, and I love the first film. The other bits about the second one I don't mind, but I think bring back Wonder Woman again. I want to see more of that. I really do. Well, who knows what's going to come out of the new universe? But I mean, it's not a. I mean. While Ezra Miller on a good day is one of the most annoying people I've ever seen on screen, it's still not a bad movie. But it's just got pretty rubbish special effects, and we have different views on those special effects, I know. And everything that is really good about the movie is not the Flash. And I know I keep saying that, but it's true. The only bit that the Flash does that is good is talking about Back to the Future, and it's not Michael J. Fox. Do you know what I mean? That for me was the only good bit that his character did. It's just he's never worked as a character for me. He's not strong enough. Because when you look into Justice League, the Flash is like a really prominent member of the Justice League.
Actually, I don't think he's as prominent, actually, when you watch the full 4-hour version.
No, I'm not on about that movie. I'm on about in the comics.
Oh, okay.
When you read those, the Flash is a lot stronger character. And a founding member.
The Flash, that story, the Flash Forward story, which is what this basically is about, was a huge part of the comics.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've done that to death, haven't we, really?
Yeah, my knee is killing me, and I need to move in a minute, so we need to...
Okay, well, we'll go through the questions, so we'll go on to our listener questions.
John, what's happening to us?
All right, so listener questions, and we've got 3 from Matt, because we had 2 from before, and then he sent in another one. So his first question is, are you a fan of cosmetic upgrades in your in-game characters, whether they are paid for or earned by grinding through levels? Do you customize the look of your character as you're playing through a game?
Of course I do. Transmog is one of the best things you can play with.
No, I don't care.
I do. Destiny, I do like a bit of transmog. And also I do in Diablo as well. So, yeah, 2 games I do it too.
Yeah, the difference between Steve and I is that Steve will have all of the matching armor on, and I will mix and match, and I will go for the strongest combination as opposed to
there's no strongest combination because it's transmog.
Oh yeah, for the transmog.
Well, if transmog, I'm now because transmog came into Destiny a bit later. Yeah. I can have my best favorite armor that's my strongest armor, but I can just turn it into a different look.
Yeah, but before that was there, you would still go for the, the coordinated.
Depends what it's for. It depends if you need it for Iron Banner because you need to get all the points to go through it. Then yes, because you need to hold. You need to have the Iron Banner, and the same for some parts of season. You have to earn more XP and everything else. You need to have the right armor on, but you don't play this anymore anyway, so you don't know what you're talking about. So don't worry about it.
What, because I don't play Destiny anymore?
No, you don't. No. Give it up. You won't be playing that again.
I will be playing it again. I'm just not at the moment because there's lots of other games out there.
You tried to play the last season and it failed on you, and you said, no, I can't do it. So, yeah.
No, I didn't say I couldn't do it. I just said, oh, God, it's still the same, and I gave up. Because I'm just sick of that repetitive cycle over and over again.
That's the way the game works anyway, so...
I know, and I've grown out of it. Just one of them things. Do you want to do his next question?
Yeah, so what's the last game you paid full price for, and how often do you do that?
Diablo.
Was me as well. But actually, I didn't pay full price. I got a good deal on it.
Well, I paid the full price that Argos was selling it for, which was like £10 cheaper, or it was 55 as opposed to 65. I paid full price on
CD keys, so
yeah,
a bit cheaper.
Yeah, but normally I either get my games through CD keys or Humble Bundle, or Game Pass, or CEX. And his third question is, have you ever played a game that you felt educated by, and do educational games work?
What about Civ? Educational?
In the fact that you can put Genghis Khan up against Adolf Hitler, no?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Or Gandhi. And Gandhi will launch a nuclear weapon.
Didn't it work in Assassin's Creed? Didn't they do it in that? Didn't they do an educational section?
Assassin's Creed was going to be the one that I was going to say, because in I think it was both Odyssey and on Origins, they had the educational tours so that you could go through and it would talk to you about like the pyramids in Cairo and stuff like that, but you had to go to specific points in the game, and it was sort of like a tour around the world, and that was really interesting. I didn't complete it all because, well, I just didn't. But there was lots of other, there was loads of stuff in there. It was very interesting to see, and and it gave you an insight in terms of how they made some of the choices in terms of the game as well. So that was really interesting. I think that there are things that you learn from games, from TV shows, from everything, really. It's like a lot of the quotes I know from Shakespeare because I watched it on Star Trek. Yeah, there's also so yeah, I do think that in a respect that the work, I'm not really sure that they're the greatest educational tool.
No, maybe not.
But I could start going into educational theory about it. Depends upon whether
we haven't got time for that. It's 10 o'clock, mate.
Yeah, VARC and stuff like that. But okay, should I do Paul's?
Yeah. So Paul Wilson, if you haven't already if you haven't already, well, you'll be given Fallout 76 another chance. I was checking it, but I'll carry on reading anyway. Now we've got the new GenuWare version that's been released. It looks great with smooth 60 frames per second, blah, blah, blah. High resolution and everything else. I don't mind if I got time to kill, and I would give it another go. I own the game, so I think I'll get. Do I not want to give that time?
Well, I mean, you got the more, the super expensive thing with the helmet and everything, didn't you?
But actually, that's worth having regardless because it's a wicked helmet from Fallout.
Yeah.
It's the same helmet throughout the game anyway, so it's neither here nor there. But
where is it?
It's up there.
In a box?
No, it comes in a bag with Fallout on it, with sort of a rucksack.
So
bag.
You've got your thing to display in a bag?
Because I've got no room for it. If I go have somewhere to put it, but up there I've got the Pit Boy box. I've got the Pit Boy. I can see that. I've got my Nuka-Cola bottle of Coke there as well. I've got my bits and pieces. I've only got a room in this room. I can't have a bigger room because we can't build one.
No, Steve.
I'll wear it next week. All right.
I was winding you up.
I know. I'll wear it next week.
For me, no interest in the Fallout universe.
No interest in Fallout full stop for you, really, is it? It's not your topic.
No. Well, the whole universe. I'm not a franchise I'm invested in.
Or Skyrim. Or Bethesda.
No, I've played.
I bet Bethesda. You will play 5 hours of Sky of the new one, and you'll walk away from it and say, "No, there's nothing else." I'll go and play Assassin's Creed.
What's the matter with that?
That's what you would do. I know. You go back to the first Assassin's Creed, so I'll go and play that instead. Well, actually, the new one.
So Skyrim. For some reason it's not showing my. But I've got about 700 gamer score on Skyrim.
You sure? Because
sorry. Oh no, that's that version. It's a PC version. $780.
You can get that halfway through the game.
Well, it depends upon what you unlock, doesn't it, basically? But there have been some good Bethesda games.
Yeah, but you've got no faith in them anymore, have you?
I haven't had any faith in them for 10 years at least.
Exactly. So you won't. Starfield, you'll get bored of Starfield within the first few hours, and you will say, right, it's just like playing Fallout. I'm going to go and play Assassin's Creed.
Well, it is. It's Fallout with knights as opposed to anything. And also, don't forget that the Elder Scrolls
ESO.
4, the Elder Scrolls 4, I completed the whole lot 100% in gamer score, including the Shimmering Isles. So don't say I don't play.
No, but that's years ago. That's like 2 centuries ago.
It's about 10 years ago, mate.
No, it's longer. I'm sure it was. Anyway, moving on. So.
Ghostwire as well. That's another game. I played that recently, and I've got that. It's quite good. Have you played that?
Yeah, I started it.
Right.
But I haven't had a chance to play it because I have to play other stuff. And when Starfield comes in, I'll be locked in that universe on its own. You know that. I'll be squeezing in a little bit of Destiny, but I think Starfield will go higher.
Okay.
And you won't touch it. But anyway, we'll see.
I will be playing Starfield. And I'll play 5 hours of it, and then I'll say,
"Yeah,
it's Fallout with spaceships." And then
and you'll
back
just
to Assassin's Creed.
I know you will. Yeah, I know. Exactly. I told you. Go on, then you can stop with Scott Beard's first one.
Okay, so if you could go back in time and play a hidden gem of the Xbox 360 PS3 generation, what would it be and why?
I can't think of one because I think that they brought out a remastered as all my favourite gems anyway, I think. I'm trying to think of something that came out. Can you think of anything that hasn't come out already?
Well, not in terms of. I'm thinking in terms of games that we should completed earlier. I would say The Last of Us Part 1 because I have completed it, but I completed it PS4 era rather than PS3. But I didn't get the game. And I completed.
That's only because you want the gamer score now. I thought you.
No. It wasn't. It was because I completed The Last of Us Part 2, and I enjoyed that version. So I went back and I played Part 1. Wasn't it anything to do with the gamer score, because I'm not as bothered about trophies as I am about gamer score.
Well, you've got both counted, really, isn't it?
Well, they all count. Steam trophies account as well, but so what? So my whole decision on playing a game is not because it's got gamer score or trophies. Hence why, I wouldn't be playing this if that was the case. Or this, although I can get retro achievements on that.
Yeah.
But I haven't got it set up.
Just going to go through my catalogue at the minute, scrolling down the 360. If I can get to it. There we go. Let's just sort of scroll through. Actually, there is one there that we actually are still waiting for to come out. It's been promised. And that's Beyond Good and Evil.
Good luck waiting for that one.
Yeah, because we still are.
Spec Ops: The Line. I've got that, and I've only played a bit of it, but it was good, and I heard it goes really quite weird at the end.
Going through. What about some of the little indie games like Geometry Wars and stuff like that?
Yeah, I played those.
We haven't had another Injustice game, have we, yet?
Injustice 1 and 2.
Yeah, because I've got Gods Among Us in the 360. Or even something as old as Cameo would be nice to bring back out. Give it, maybe put more depth in the story and give it a nice clean look.
I know the game for you, Steve. Dance Central Spotlight.
Actually, there's another game coming out actually as well. Of course we have. They got the Metal Gear collection coming out.
Yeah, but this is he's talking about what games would you like to go back in time and play on the original systems.
Yeah, maybe so. I wouldn't mind actually probably going back digging a PlayStation 1 out if I had one and play Gran Turismo. Something like that. Just to remind myself how much I enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
Thinking from a PlayStation point of view, and some of the F1 games. I mean, obviously the Final Fantasy I've played. You can still play that version now anyway. Also, I did like a game I did enjoy, which I've not played since. Again, was the X-Files game on PlayStation, which again was a movie interactive type game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite good.
There was a few of those sort of games back in the day, though.
There were, or actually, I wouldn't mind actually just having say if I could dig out an older PlayStation and play some of those games. Even the Getaway was good. That was my last one I played before I jumped ship to Xbox. That was quite good.
Go back and play some of the God of Wars as well, because a lot of the God of Wars sort of like passed me by. Just because back then I only had one console, which was the 360.
Yeah. What can you play on the PS4 now that's old now? What can you play on that?
Loads of stuff.
I'm guessing now you'd have to use the pass to play some of that stuff.
No, because you can buy some of the games that have been remastered to the PS4 era.
Yeah, but some of the old PS1 games, you can't now. You won't be able to play on them.
Yeah, some of those you still can, but you can also do the the full version of the PlayStation Premium. Excuse me. PlayStation Premium has a lot of PS1 games on and PS2. But I'm still in the process of trying to get some time together to build up my Ultimate PlayStation 2, which is going to have PS1 and 2 games that I own on, because I'm going to dump them onto a 2 terabyte hard drive, which I've got right here.
Yeah. I've got 4 sitting there as well, actually. He's sitting there at the moment. But yeah, I mean, some of those ones you can still play again now, still on there. Jetpack Refueler, I love that game. That was quite fun to play back then. That was quite good to jump into. Then you didn't mind playing some of those old that style games. Yeah. Even though you obviously play, these older ones as well.
Retro games is where it's at.
It is for you, my son. Anyway, who's next? What's his next one?
What game you wanted to play but never got round to playing it?
I can look up on my shelf to tell you that question. Go up there. I've got a couple of PlayStation games I haven't played yet. And they're older games. What have I got there? Well, actually, I haven't finished The Last of Us Part 2, actually, funny enough. Have you played that? Have you finished that?
I completed that first, and then I went back to do the Part 1.
I can't read it from here. What's the story games that was very similar to, that came out much earlier in the PlayStation era?
Back to the Future?
No. There's a couple of games that came out. I'm not going to drag them down now, because I can't get out there.
Oh,
Heavy Rain and stuff like that?
Yeah, Heavy Rain, and
they came as a bundle, didn't they?
Yeah. Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
I've not got around to playing them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any others.
There's one I didn't complete, which I really enjoyed. Was one that was very much like a cyber, like cyberpunk. It was just do with androids, like iRobot. Remember? Don't
remember that one.
It wasn't iRobot, but it was basically. I haven't got the disc anymore. I might have got it anymore. I'm sure I still own the game though. It was one where you had choices in the game, and you were an android and you were solving crimes.
Oh, Become Human.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very much on the lines of the sort of like House of Ashes dark anthology. Little Hope and Man and
Still got those.
Dan.
I've got those 3 to do. Yeah. Sitting on there. I picked them up for a good price.
Yeah, I've got those on PC, so sitting there waiting to do. And
when the new one comes out, really dirt cheap, I'll just grab it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of doing, just getting all of those together. Okay, do you want to do Paul's question?
Yeah. So Paul Wilson's last question: With gaming as being such an establishing part of your life, could you see yourself waking up one day and deciding you have had enough of gaming and never play another game again? Unless my body tells me otherwise, no.
No, definitely. Why would I deprive myself of doing something I like?
There might be times in the future you might have to make a decision. You don't know.
That's a different thing. He's on about you just wake up and you go, I'm sick of this gaming stuff. I'm giving it up.
There are times you might wake up and say, I don't know, I want to play the game again for now. I just had enough. I'm going to move on. Or I'm going to take a break from gaming. I think we've all done that.
Yeah, I mean, I took a break from gaming. End of the PS2 era. I had a Dreamcast, an Xbox, PS2, and a GameCube, and I just thought, I've had enough. I just got married. My priorities were different. Blah blah blah. And then after 2, 3, 4 years, gaming, the 360 got released, and I bought Elite. And I didn't even have a HD TV. I had to buy an Elite and a HD TV to play it on, which was quite annoying at the time. But no, I can't imagine I would ever not play games. I think what will happen is when I get older than I am now, I won't go into game shops. Not that I think that there'll be many left anyway, but to buy physical copies, and everything I'll be either digital or bought through Amazon. If you can even still get physical games by then.
Well, same goes for movies, doesn't it? Really.
Well, movies now I can't buy them unless I go to HMV. There's nowhere for me to buy them because anything that's in CEX I will want before it's in there anyway. So everything I buy now is from Amazon.
Yeah.
In terms of movies.
I do have a HMV in Bournemouth. I haven't been there for a long time. Sometimes I try to actually make a trip just to have a good nose.
Yeah, see, we have a HMV in Darlington. We have one in Middlesbrough, Harrogate, and York. I don't like going to York because the A19 is one of the most god-awful roads that's ever been created by man.
Yeah.
Because there's very few passing points once you get onto the single carriageway, which is everywhere from Thirsk right the way to York. Yeah. Harrogate is just a problem getting into because it's always so busy. And then Middlesbrough. And Darlington just never really go to very much. So consequently, I still and also it's very rare to find a really good deal at the store. If you go looking for something physical, when you go, do you find that if you've got money in your hand and you want to buy something, metaphorical or actual money in your hand, do you find it's really hard or harder in a shop to find what you want to buy than it is by going online and doing searches?
I don't know, because you can walk around a section in HMV and say, I do really fancy pick up a horror flick. You can go to that section over there. Same as doing the search, isn't it? And you're possibly looking from alphabetically. There's like they've got an arrow section now in there, for example, haven't they? And they've got even some of the DVDs. There's still the odd DVD I'd like to have because they don't make Blu-rays on them, some of the movies.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I'm in HMV, the first thing I'll do is check to see if I can get it cheaper online. And if I can, I'll order it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can pick some stuff up on eBay a bit cheaper if you're after something a bit,
Yeah. I very rarely buy stuff off eBay. Anyway, Alan's last question. Is there an old game you would love to remake or remaster? A rumour of Red Dead Redemption is on the way. I've heard it's more than a rumour. I've heard it's happening.
Yeah. Most of the ones that have been remade have been the ones I've been looking for, really. I'm not sure if anything comes up in my head that is now something I'd like to.
I got one.
Go on.
The original Wing Commander series.
Oh, I can't remember them.
They were sort of like, it was a space flight combat game, but it had a story to it. And it was Wing Commander 3 and 4 actually had Mark Hamill
Right.
appear in the game, because it was like the first time they'd ever done mixing video with computer generated images.
Mm.
So yeah, Wing Commander. Let's have that remastered for modern systems with all of the goodness that would entail.
Okay, I can't think of anything top of my head myself, to be honest. I'm stumped to that one.
No, I think it's getting later. We're tired.
Well, my knee's fucking pain, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll finish there. So, Steve, do you want to do your outro?
Yeah, so Twitter at Steve07, PSN The Real Steve07, Instagram The Vinyl Cues, YouTube The Vinyl Cues, Xbox Steve07.
And for me, it's HERJ UK for absolutely everything, apart from on Epic, in which case it's Pop Culture Gamers. Don't forget, for the show, you can also go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pop Culture Gamers. You can look at follow us on Twitter at Pop Culture Gamer. You can also go to our Facebook group. You can email podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. And yeah, and also look at us on Spotify as well. Just search for Pop Culture Gamers on there. And that's it. That's another show. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us, Steve, because I know that you've been in a bit of pain with your leg, and it's been a long sitting down session.
Yeah, a bit too long.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll be back in a few weeks. And other than that, have a good summer holidays, and we'll see you next time. And it's a good night from me.
And a good night from him. Good night.
Good night.